live from Ogden, Utah at the Expedition 1 Studios, James, Sarah, and the Big Sarge.
Fantastic.
Ooh, insert.
Seriously. Absolutely fantastic. Third time's the charm,
Third
right?
time's the charm.
Yeah,
I
that's
get a
the
little
one
better
we're
with it
gonna
every
go
time. Yeah.
That was really good. Okay, well, Matt, thanks for coming on.
Hey, great. Thank you
I'm
for
going to
having
probably
me.
call you Matt and Sarge at the same time, so don't worry about it.
You can call me anything you like, but hey, don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
That'll get me upset.
I won't ever
I'll come across this table. You call me late for dinner, I'm coming across the table.
I wouldn't ever dream of it. Okay, Sarge, we talked your credentials a little bit. Let's talk about them. Let's get it down. You're the Big Sarge, first of all.
Yep.
So on top of that, you are...
president of the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association. I've been on the board of directors there for 30 years. I'm an executive board member of the Blue Ribbon Coalition, which is a national organization that works for keeping public lands public. I'm a member of the Wasatch Outlaws 4x4 Club, Red Rock 4x4 Club, and my original club that I started with is and still a member of for over 30 years, is the Bighorn 4x4 Club of Ogden, Utah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I've worked with clubs all around the state, and there's a lot of good clubs.
Nice. Very nice. Well, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me. Thanks for the invite.
What should we talk about? Where should we start? Let's start about...
Wow.
I don't want to jump right into land use, but we need to go there. But let's go there in a little bit. Let's talk about this first of all. Okay. So, what does Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association do?
Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association works at keeping public lands public here in the state of Utah. Utah's trails are America's trails. Let's keep public lands public.
That is a really good elevator pitch,
Yep.
dude. That
You
was
like
like,
that?
boom.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
You know, a bunch of us were sitting down one day at Four Wheel Parts in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I was helping them with a grand opening or an annual sale down there. Provided sound and stuff for them.
Yep.
And we were all sitting around outside talking about, how can a new name, and we came up with that one. And next thing I knew, I hear Mia Love saying it on the TV. So I was like, yeah,
Nice. It worked.
it kind of works. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that's another thing you didn't put in there is that you announced for a ton of events for some reason, which how did that work? How did you get into that?
How did I get into that? Well, the Bighorn 4x4 Club used to put on a 4th of July outing at Hooper Park, and they were tired of paying for an announcer.
Okay.
That cut into the funds that were made for the club, and so they asked me to do it, and I started doing it, and next thing you know, I'm doing demolition derbies and announcing rock crawls for Craig Stump and Ranch Pratt and the Patey brothers, and I've announced for Ultra 4 Series out at Miller Motorsports Park when it was Miller Motorsports Park.
Yeah.
Have been out there since I've changed hands, and for Supercrawl out in URock out at Miller Motorsports Park. I did the county fair for Salt Lake County one time down south. I've done a few over here at a few demolition derbies over here at the Golden Spike Event Center.
Okay.
Cool.
Have you done Easter Jeep Safari announcing too?
I've done a little bit of announcing, walking around with a microphone, but but they've kind of stopped that over the last couple of years because it echoes so bad in there that it makes it hard for the vendors to talk to their customers.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of have backed off that.
Okay. But even with the raffle, you haven't done the raffle?
No, they got their guys down there and they do a wonderful job.
Oh, all right.
So I just sometimes it's nice to just kick back and relax.
It is nice.
Watch somebody else do something.
Yeah, have somebody else do the work. Yeah. Well, so there you go, people out there that might be watching. I really shouldn't break the fifth wall, or what is that? What it is? The fourth wall? Fourth wall. Yeah. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, tech guy.
Thanks, tech guy. Yeah. So fourth wall. I probably shouldn't break it so much, but I totally break it.
He likes to look at the camera.
I like to look at the camera and be like, "Hey,"
What's up?
but I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Anyway, it happens.
It happens.
So Sarge, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I'm doing good.
You were telling me you lost 20 pounds.
Lost 20 pounds.
That's pretty sweet.
Got my knees fixed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Hall.
2 bionics? 2?
Titanium.
2 of them.
Got to have my little pass to go through the airport.
You're doing all right though?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Pretty happy.
You're a pretty big dude. I'm just gonna say it, dude. You're a big dude for new knees. I'm just gonna say it because you are a big dude for new knees.
I am a big dude for new knees.
Most people I know that have to get new knees, it's like you got to lose a ton of weight, and then they will do new knees.
Well,
But
yeah, the problem is trying to lose weight when you can't run or you can't move that well.
yeah, it's really hard. It's
So-
all diet.
Now I've got it. The knees are working good, and I'm working at losing the weight.
Yeah.
Sweet.
20 pounds is a lot, dude.
It is.
It's a lot of weight.
Now when you're my size, it's not even a tenth.
Yeah,
Not even a tenth.
still got a ways to go.
Oh yeah.
It's all right.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not you're not breaking my chair, so that's
I'm not
good.
breaking the chair, and thanks for buying the chair this size.
You're You're very welcome. I'm not. This is no joke. I called Sarge. I either called you or I talked to you covertly, and actually got your weight before I bought these chairs.
I thought you were, when you did that,
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were doing that because you were going to put the steps on the side of my truck, and you wanted to make sure that the power steps
That's
for
right.
the side
I
of my
did.
truck would work for me to get in and out of the truck.
So that's right. We ran amps on that,
I didn't want to break them in half,
Yeah.
and I figured that's what you were doing.
and those are
Some good
working good
steps.
for you still, right?
Oh, I love my amp steps and my.
yeah.
There's this company that made these outstanding bumpers for the front of
Oh,
my
yeah.
truck called Expedition One.
Yeah.
Right here in Ogden,
Heard
Utah.
of them.
Yeah.
Heard of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those are
Love
treating
their
you good
stuff.
too, yeah.
Oh, they're.
Have you had to do much recovery yet? I mean, I know you guys have been doing some stuff.
Oh well, another group that
Yeah,
I'm
talk about
part
that.
of is the Utah Off-Road Recovery Team,
Right. Okay.
and we're a volunteer group, and we try to do the recovery. We do the recoveries
Mm-hmm.
that literally nobody else will do
Okay.
because, and we don't want to step on any tow company's toes or anything like that. But we work with several sheriff's departments here in the state of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some great professionals. I mean, and when I say professionals, guys that do it full time, we're pretty darn good, and we have professionals on our team. And again, these are guys that normally can't do it because their companies can't do that kind of work. They just
Mm-hmm.
we can get our vehicles where nobody else can.
And this is you're not paid to do this,
No,
right?
no, we don't. No, if anybody wants to make a donation to the group
Yeah.
to help pay the cost for the group, like insurance and stuff like that, yeah, we're all for that.
I've seen
we
some
don't take-
gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
You do a Facebook post sometimes on some of your recoveries, and I've been
Yeah,
impressed.
we like I said, we do the stuff nobody else wants to do. Now Casey Lofthouse has a great YouTube channel down there in southern Utah, and he does some wild stuff. He's got this little tracked vehicle he does it with, and he's got a 5-ton. You should see him pull out a motorhome stuck in the sand
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
at Sand Hollow.
Wow.
I mean, it's you just can't get any company to come do those.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And does he do it for free also, or is he?
No, he is a professional paid company. Some
That's
of the
what-
stuff
he
he
makes
does
some
for
money
free,
doing it.
but
Yeah.
he makes. I mean, that's his job. That's his living.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we do the stuff that nobody else will do. We've
Mm-hmm.
gone out and done recoveries on the salt flats.
Who do you got in on that? It's you.
Oh,
I think
there's
Kurt's part of it, right?
Kurt Williams, yes,
Yeah.
who is also a past president of the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association.
Yep.
Brett Davis,
Mm-hmm.
who's also a past president, and our president right now of our little group is Joel.
Okay.
Joel German.
Okay.
Joel.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh.
Does it
I
have
had
like it's fine. Does it have like a Facebook page or anything
yes,
like that?
Yes.
It does. What's
Utah,
it called?
Utah Off-Road Recovery Team.
Utah Off-Road Recovery Team. So
Mhm.
everybody got that. So if you want to
Yep.
follow that, see what they do. Also, it's not bad to have that if you're going to put yourself in that position as well. Just saying.
We really prefer that people don't put themselves in that
Yeah.
position.
Avoid it.
Yeah, avoid it I've seen some people. I've been doing off-road recoveries for 30 years.
Yeah.
Since I came here from Germany. I mean,
Mhm.
I've done recoveries with tanks. I've done recoveries with heavy military vehicles and stuff like that. And so, I've got some experience. And so coming here and Brett is our engine nerd.
Mhm.
He is an absolute fantastic guy. He will help. He travels much more than I do. I mean, and so will Joel German. Joel German works for a recovery company that sells the recovery equipment
Okay.
down in Salt Lake. So if you want a tow truck, call Joel,
Mm-hmm.
or even recovery gear.
Yeah.
He's a great source. He's got all kinds of great professional stuff,
Nice.
and so we get a lot of our stuff from him. He also teaches a class on recovery that anybody can go to, self-recovery.
And
stuff
does
like
that for free, or is that?
No, he
paid?
charges for
He
that.
charges?
It's a little side
It's-
money-making
it's-
thing for him.
It's probably a good thing. I mean, here's
Yeah.
the thing. There's one thing you're getting so many new people. They're getting into
Yes.
this thing right now, which I think is
Yeah.
great. I think it's fantastic.
I took a call earlier while you and me were talking
Right,
earlier.
yeah.
Of a guy
Yeah.
who was brand new and wants to, hey,
Mhm.
what do I do? I've got a stock Jeep, what do I start with? And I said, tires, wheels, lockers,
Yep.
and bumpers,
Mhm.
and winch, and a CB or a ham radio.
Yep.
And then, and then we had the call from Harriman, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't go into that one because
Yeah.
I can't talk about that one yet because he said, don't talk about this.
Yeah.
So I won't talk about it. But it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And then, go off road. We do these recoveries all over the place. A lot of times, the Bountiful Bee.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Isn't that
Man.
place quite the? Now
I
got to tell you. So here's the thing, and I hesitate to do this because my son is the engineer, right?
Mhm.
And he's in high school. But I'm gonna get real with him here and everybody else. So I probably skipped class more than I should have, and I went to Woods
No.
Cross High. Oh
no.
man. Now I can tell you
Shocker.
stories. Tell you lots of stories, and literally, it would be like, I just don't want
The
to go to
fun
class.
skipping class.
believe
Sarah,
I
can you
think
believe
in
this?
Utah they call that sloughing.
Yeah, we call
you-
it sloughing.
You won't
Sloughing.
hear
That's what it
that
was.
anywhere else
Sloughing.
outside of
No,
Utah.
and when I went to Hazelwood East High School in St. Louis, it was
Mhm.
skipping class.
Skipping.
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah.
rest of the
And
nation
then-
calls it.
And the
So
principal would get on you about it.
Yeah, we called it sloughing. I was able to get A's in classes that I hardly went to, but it's because they would have like major projects, right? So it's like you got to finish 3 major projects. I'd have them done in like a week,
There you go.
and I'm like, well, why would I be here if that's all I have to do?
and he's
So anyway,
charming, so
I got skills. I
Charming.
guess I can be charming.
Sarah, I'll take you.
Certain
I'll take
teachers
your
like
word
it.
on
My
that
word on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I went to the B all the time. That was like my playground. It was like every day, even if I went to all school after school, go up there all the time. If I just had time to kill, that's where I'd go, just constantly. And then after I graduated, and I got that white Jeep sitting behind us over there that you
Mhm.
see, I went all the time. And so yeah, that place was pretty good stomping grounds as far as learning how to off-road. But the amount of times that you would see people go over on their lid or hear the stories, man, it was
One of the first things
it was
you
crazy.
got to remember if you go up on the B, lower your tire pressure. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten calls where, I've been stuck up here for 8 hours and I need you guys to come recover me and we can't get a tow truck up here. And have you lowered the tire pressure?
Mhm.
What do you mean? Lower your tire pressure. It's not rocket
not
science.
easy.
It's not rocket science, but try it. Next thing you know, hey, thanks, man, we're out. It's just amazing.
I'm just really surprised that they're still allowing people to go up there. You know what I mean?
Well,
They've closed a lot of it off. They've closed a lot of it off, but
yeah, they've closed a lot of it off, and Ward Canyon's got I think it's Ward Canyon's got a
Old
nasty
Ward
wash.
Road.
The Old Ward Road's got a nasty
Yeah.
wash on it that's actually eating the Jeep.
yeah. Oh, is that
Yeah.
the so?
I think that white one that went
yeah,
down.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was
More
was
up
Ward
there.
Canyon. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's called Old Ward Road.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And no, that was an amazing picture. I know that wash really good, but I haven't seen that wash for probably 20 years, so
Yeah,
I can't
it's
imagine
getting
what it's
more-
like now.
ATVs can barely get by it, and this guy tried to go around it with a Jeep.
Dang, it was bad then.
Yeah, it's
Didn't you have a water crossing experience up there
There,
in a trooper?
yeah. Well, I've had
Ooh,
lots of
oh.
water crossing experiences there.
Sarah dropping a dime. It sounds
There's-
like here.
there's
I
some
think
stuff
this was
up there
a
that I
late
don't-
night.
Oh no. Okay, so
Does Doug
I
know
don't
about
really
this?
want to admit to that
Does Doug know about this?
right
Sorry.
now.
Does your dad know about this?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay, all
no, and that wasn't the trooper. No. So I did have my first vehicle was a black Nissan Pathfinder, 1988 Nissan Pathfinder. It was black, the worst color ever for anything you want to off road. And yeah, next one ended up being a Isuzu Trooper, which was much better. Believe it or not, it was a 1994 Isuzu Trooper. Very capable, actually. A lot of people may not realize that, but they're very capable. And then when I graduated high school, I got that Jeep right there. Yeah, I did something with that up there, which was a really bad idea. And I'm sure that I probably couldn't get in trouble for it. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. It happened. This was 25 years ago.
I hate to
okay?
say this because of your age. I think the
So-
statute of limitations is in
I
effect.
I
here,
would
so.
think so.
Probably so.
Okay, but
We are recording this, right? Okay.
this yeah.
Okay.
So they've after 1982 they set up all those in the canyons. They set up those big kind of like dam type things, right? They're
Right.
not really dams, but they're just in case to prevent any flooding. Then they have the spillway that goes
Right.
through down to the other side, right? So I was with my dear friend Cameron Egan, and hopefully I can get him on the show. I've been bugging him to come on, but me and Cameron are in that Jeep, and we found out that Jeep stock will fit through the spillway, and we fit through the spillway, and we're like, do you think we can drive down there? And so we spotted it before we drove down there. We went all the way to the bottom, and we walked into the water on this side, and seemed like it was maybe a couple feet deep, and then we jumped around the other side because there's nowhere to go, right? It's concreted in, right? So you can't like drive down there and drive out. It's one of those where you'd have to turn around and drive back up. And so we're like, well, there's a lot of water down there. We checked one area. We walked in this way. It was like maybe 2 feet deep. We walked in and up from the opposite side. And there's probably a section, I would say, it was about 2-3 feet that we didn't walk in. We didn't check that section.
You found that section, though.
But we found it. We found it once we were all the way to the bottom, and we dropped in, and the nose of the Jeep was completely submerged underwater, and we were fully committed. That's when we found out that it's actually pretty deep. So I shifted down. Shifted down to second.
The front end being underwater.
It was
didn't
underwater.
Give you a clue.
Yeah, no, that was the clue, but it was
Okay,
one of those
all right.
where it was like we couldn't go in reverse. There was no
Okay.
reverse here. So I actually dropped into second gear to get more momentum, and I hit the throttle, and the front end popped up out of the water. But then the back end was just floating. It was like a boat. It's just, you could just feel it kind of floating around. And I was getting no traction. And my biggest concern, so the water's kind of pouring in, it's leaking in really slow through the doors and everything like that. And Cameron jumps out, and he finds out real quick just how deep it is. And it was that deep. It was up to his chest. And he was like, whoa. And I was yelling at him. I said, open the hood, because I could hear that the motor was being starved for air. And it wasn't that the
Being underwater might not have caused the engine to start for
the intake wasn't underwater. Okay, the
right.
intake wasn't underwater, but there was just nowhere where any of the air would come in. There was nowhere for it to get enough air, so it was starving. So I said, "Open the hood, and he was like, "Why would I open the hood?" And so anyway, it stalled, and then so I jumped out. The motor stalled, and I jumped out, opened the hood, and by that time the starter wouldn't turn, so it was stuck, and that's where it resided until the next morning. We had to walk. See, I wish like an off-road recovery team like this existed back then, right? So I could just call my bros and be like, hey, can you guys come get me? But we walked, because he lived on Bountiful Boulevard. He lived clear on the other side. His parents actually still live there. And but we walked probably like 3 miles to the other side of the boulevard we were wet up to about right here. And yeah.
That's a fun story.
Yeah, it was a great story. Had to get a tow truck. I can't remember who did it, but they did a great job, man. They had super long cables, and they just backed us right through.
Dry this time of year, when it starts getting dry, they go up there. Like in the middle of winter time, though, people get up there. They don't like, the tow companies don't want to get up in that slick stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty interesting, but that's my story. It's a good story, huh?
So if I see your Jeep for sale, low mileage, never off-roaded, don't give me a hard time. I know what I've got.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, we'll probably keep this one for a long time. It actually hasn't driven for 10 years.
Yeah, it's a
more than
company
that. Jeez.
company vehicle. It's a company vehicle.
It is.
It
It's
is.
the original.
We do some test fitting on it on occasion, but yeah, it's the original company vehicle. It's where I got it started.
And then I love the JK
Rat Patrol.
This guy,
Rat Patrol.
the Rat
Yeah, the
Patrol.
Rat Patrol. You know,
Yeah.
you've loaned that to me for a few events.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It is definitely a crowd pleaser. Never will forget the lady that yelled at me about it at the off-road at.
SEMA.
No, it was at the
She wasn't very
Southtown
happy
Expo.
with that.
Oh.
With that gun on top.
No, it wasn't the Southtown
Oh.
Expo, actually, which is also another great event that I helped put on. That's Phil and Scott's event down there.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
great. That's a great
Salt Lake
event.
City
Solid.
Off-Road Expo. Yep.
No, it was the International Auto Show.
Mm.
They give
Yes,
the
I
Utah
remember
Four-Wheel
that
Drive
one.
Association usually some space down there. And one year I brought this down, and me and Big Buddha go driving through the building. But I had it on display, and this lady just comes up and starts trying, because I'm not going to take it, trying to rip on me about the fact that we had a gun in the show. And what am I trying to teach young people? I said that they should join the military and play with guns. Which she didn't like, and her husband. I mean, this lady's like trying to get in my face, which I got to give her credit for that.
Right.
And she's just going off, and her husband won't make eye contact with me. He's standing behind her, off to the side,
A little bit embarrassed,
like,
probably.
oh God,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and have some tea. It's past my tea time. Come on, dear, let's go. And so anyway, then she came back and apologized later on.
Yeah.
She says, "You just, I said, "Man,
That's
it's not
cool.
really a real." Well, it is a real gun. I mean,
Yeah.
It is. This is actually, we get this question
Yeah.
pretty often.
but
Yeah.
it's actually a real gun. Now, it's an air gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's air operated or CO2 operated. It doesn't shoot, real bullets, but it'll.
It shoots metal if you want to.
Metal.
Well, we.
You can shoot metal rounds with it.
That could hurt.
That might hurt. The plastic.
No, it'll. At 600 psi, it'll kill.
The
Dang.
really.
Mm-hmm.
But plastic is much better for that dog, that your neighbor's dog that
Plastic
happens
is
to go.
for dogs or
Christmas parties.
Christmas
Christmas
parties.
parties.
Or
That was the last time.
last time we
pulled
shot
out.
it was a Christmas party. Fired it up a little bit.
I missed that Christmas party.
Oh, you
Yeah.
were here. I think you left.
You
actually.
you left. It was
I
when
left?
you were Santa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Right.
Anyway. Another thing I do is Santa Claus.
You do Santa.
Yes, I do
you
do
do a
Santa.
lot of
Right.
stuff.
I do a lot of
You
stuff.
do a lot of stuff,
Drives my
yeah.
wife nuts.
I imagine. And you still work too. You're not like an old retired man. You're
No,
just an old man.
I'm just an old man. I'm not old retired. I'm just an old guy. Not having fun. With a wonderful wife. In fact, yesterday was our 40th wedding
Oh,
anniversary.
wow. Congrats.
That's
awesome.
congrats. That's impressive.
Yep. Yep.
Well done.
Well done, for sure.
How many kids we got?
Two
Kids.
kids.
2 kids, a wife.
Two
and
kids, wife,
Some
daughter, 2 granddaughters.
granddaughters. Really
son.
big dog.
Really big dog.
Mm-hmm.
A Dane Mastiff.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
big
a
one.
big dog.
We're actually taking it out for recoveries now, because it's easier to just hook the dog up and have the dog pull the vehicles out than it is to hook up a Jeep.
I was waiting.
You know.
I was waiting on that one.
Yeah.
Waiting for the It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah.
That's the best part about the Sarge is he comes up with these like you don't
Dad jokes.
you don't even know when
No,
it's coming,
I-
right? And all of a
it's
sudden it's there.
It's just dad jokes.
Just and they're solid.
Yep.
So his Facebook posts are. He had one today that I was like,
yeah.
it's like looking at it, I'm like, this one's got to be it, but I'm gonna read it anyway because it's kind of long. But
Was it the one about the cows?
yeah, the one about the
yes,
cows.
Yes, the one about the cows. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Got to move over for that joke. Anyway. The
At some point, should we talk more about off-roading?
yes.
I'm trying to
Yes.
think. Where should we start?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for all the great equipment that you guys make here at Expedition 1.
Thank
You
you.
guys make good quality stuff, and I appreciate all the support that you've given the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association and myself.
You're welcome.
I love the stuff that you guys got, and I've got some of the got your bumpers, and yeah, the white's got one that's there. For a
That was
second.
weird, huh? Yeah.
And and I've got your bumpers on my truck and my power wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, gotta love the Hemi.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
It's looking good.
Yep. And then the loaning of the vehicles for the different shows and stuff like that. It was also a big hit. I got the general in this of the maintenance depot up at Hill Air Force Base one time.
You did?
Yep. He got up in the turret and
Oh, I think I remember
Yeah.
that. Did you take a picture of that?
I think I did.
You sent me a picture
and
of that.
I got actually a picture of my wife doing it, which is really something.
Why is that really something?
She's not. But sometimes she's a lot of fun, but sometimes that's just something.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really her thing.
Not really her thing.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can fix something here. Ready? There we go.
there we go.
Is that better? We
Makes
good?
my eyes work better.
I was like,
Rogue.
weird.
Got
Why
a
did they do
rogue
that?
light.
All right, whatever.
I was like, I got to drive home now.
We're fine. Okay.
Where's the road?
That's pretty sweet though that I can adjust my lights right there.
Yeah.
It's a nice little kit. I don't know who made that for me. Okay, back to off-roading.
Back to
right?
off-roading.
Yes.
So there's a lot of great trails throughout Utah. As you were talking about, the Bountiful Bee is a fun spot.
It's a fun spot, particularly since it's really close too. Like it's right, it's kind of very close to the city. I mean, it is, from Salt Lake City, it's just right there. There's, I'm trying to think, what else do we got?
Well, you got Ant Flats.
Ant Flaps. Where's Ant Flats?
Flats.
Where's that?
Going up toward Monte Cristo. It's right before the snowmobile gate.
Oh, okay.
And it's a dirt road that goes over to Hardware Ranch.
Right.
And there's very little
It's
public
not very
land.
technical, is it?
No, it's a dirt road.
It's just more of a dirt road. Yeah.
But it's got there's a couple of places where there's public lands on the side of the road.
Okay.
Most of it is all private.
Mm-hmm.
And in the church owns a bunch of land up there. There's some developments up there.
Right.
Summer homes, because unless you got a snowmobile, you're not going to get there in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And then and you can go over from there over to Hardware Ranch,
Right.
and then you can go up onto Monte Cristo.
Mm-hmm.
You got Curtis Creek Trail. You got trails. You got
You're about Providence Canyon.
You got
right?
Providence Canyon, Millville Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Old Ephraim's Grave.
Oh yeah.
Old Ephraim's Grave is
Old
over there.
Ephraim's grave.
You know what that is?
I haven't done that
Okay.
trail. Have
You
you?
know what? You know
Do you
what
know
Old
what
Ephraim
Old
is?
Ephraim is? That's pretty important.
That's an important part of the trail.
Old Ephraim.
I don't.
Old Ephraim. Old Ephraim was a great big grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big
This is
grizzly.
legendary.
Yeah, he's
All the
he's
scout
a
camps I went
legendary.
to, man, we
Okay.
Yeah.
always
I
talked
mean,
about
he's
Old
like
Ephraim.
I think
Utah
like his.
lore.
It is Utah
Don't quote me.
lore.
Yeah, it's the Utah lore. I think his skull is in the Smithsonian. He was so big.
Really?
He was huge.
He was a
Okay.
huge. There was
Now,
something special about his skull.
If I
They put it
recall,
someplace.
like when they finally got, it was like a guy was like one-on-one with Old Ephraim. Is that how it worked? And then he shot him like 3 times or something?
He got shot,
Yeah.
and went down for the count, and they buried him up there. But that was one
He was a big boy.
big bear.
He was a grizzly, right?
Yeah.
Grizzly?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Huge, like something like he could, his marks on the trees were like 12 feet high,
Dang.
where he
Yeah.
would scratch the trees. He had the high mark.
Sweet.
But anyway, that's one of the cool things to go out on
Yeah.
that trail.
I don't think I've done that one.
It's not the most technical trail.
Yeah.
Now Prov
Just-
Canyon.
Good exploration.
Prov Canyon's technical.
Yeah, Prov has some
I've
very
done that
technical
one.
spots.
Yeah.
You can break stuff there.
Yeah. In fact, someone was kind enough to try to make Prov Canyon even more technical one time and rolled a boulder into the middle of the trail.
I remember that.
And I
Oh,
slammed my
nice.
Ram Charger into that thing like 3 times.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get around this boulder. And every time I went up on the hillside, I'd slide right down into the boulder and down the side
Yeah.
of the truck. So.
No, I remember that thing. My Jeep went around it pretty nicely, but my brother tried to take his Land Rover. He had a Land Rover like County short wheelbase, and he was just trying to get around that thing. And anyway, long story short, he ended up like folding his fender out. It was
Yeah.
really neat looking. So
A nice addition to a
yeah,
Land Rover.
yeah,
But you got that. You got Millville Canyon. There's all kinds of trails up there.
up kind of north. Well, once you
Yeah.
get up in there, you can take those trails going all the way to like Bear Lake. You know what I mean? You can literally take dirt road all the way to Bear Lake, and
Yeah.
the only thing up there is like you might get some sheep and some Basque dudes. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
are up there in
there's-
the mountains.
Yeah, there's all kinds of trails up in there, and then you can also go up into Idaho too.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Idaho, and I can remember the time that Nancy Bob
Mm-hmm.
and me and a bunch were up there, and we ended up at the Beaver Pond.
Beaver Pond.
Yeah, we're not going to go down that road.
Okay,
That's no.
that's another time.
That
Another
was
story.
not. There might be people under the age of 18 watching, and so I rather not get into the jokes that we were making that particular day.
All right.
But there was a beaver. in the beaver pond.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nice.
Sounds exciting.
and
That
we
always-
recovered it.
Definitely.
I think we recovered a long cab super cab, long bed super cab up there.
Really?
Like, we found him and he was stuck, so we got him out.
Very nice of you.
We do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bighorn is one of the oldest clubs in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
The Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association was founded by, let's see if I can remember it right, it was the Bighorn 4x4 Club, Lone Peak, which is still in existence,
Mm-hmm.
down in Lehigh area. And they're a great group down there. I've known those people forever. And then it was the Golden Eagles out of Ogden,
Yeah.
the Cache Valley Rangers,
Mm.
and there was one more. Oh, Desert Trackers.
Okay.
Desert Trackers. Miss you, Russ. And so that was, that was the 5 original clubs that formed the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
And the association originally started off as, we'd get together, and it was kind of like to bring people around the state together.
Right.
Whether you lived, no matter where you lived, and we'd put on, trail rides at different parts of the state. Well,
Mhm.
then came SUA.
Dun dun
Some
dun.
background music on that part.
The sad
And,
part of it is there's people that actually probably go off-roading that give money to those guys having no idea
Yeah.
what their real story is.
Yeah, there's some corporate grants that you probably don't want to know about.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I've sat across the table from them at meetings and tried to work things out, and sued them.
Yeah.
Countersued them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association became more of a public lands. We decided, hey, look, we got to, fight for our lands in Utah, and we're not big enough where we could do events and fight
Mm-hmm.
and help the clubs.
Mhm.
So we help the clubs. We promote different club events. And so that's where we shifted, where we were putting on an event. Now we do the clubs. They put on the event, and we back the clubs putting on the event.
Now let's get into this real quick, like why it's important, because I don't think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize just how much their access to the lands is trying to be inhibited. Like how many groups are out there that are trying to prevent them to be able to drive, literally in certain cases, just down dirt roads. We're not talking about technical off-roading here necessarily.
no.
We're talking about being able to travel down a dirt road on public lands.
Right. And in Utah, a lot of the roads were originally uranium mines. You go down to Moab
Right.
and stuff. It was before there was jeeping. There was uranium mines,
Mm-hmm.
and then came jeeping with the start of the Easter Jeep Safari,
Mm-hmm.
which started I want to say like 1965, 67.
Okay.
Okay, somewhere around there. George Schultz can keep me in line on that. And it was just unreal. And they started off with the basic Jeeps and stuff like that. And then it's grown, but now you have hikers and bikers and mountain
Right.
bikers and ATVs and single track and the pedal type and the
Horses.
full size. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never really seen much horsing around down there in Moab.
I've seen
I've seen-
very little, but I've
Yeah.
seen it, which is fine. I mean,
That's part
horse,
of the whole.
horse is like it's a different animal.
Yes, it is.
That's a Sarge joke.
I know. I thought he'd at least laugh a little bit. He's just like, well, that is true. That
It
is a
is.
different animal.
It is. That was kind of off the hoof. Anyway.
In the context of public lands and
Yes.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really a
Yeah.
lot of groups that want access,
That's right.
whether you're on a horse, but a lot of the discussion is whether it's zero access or foot traffic only.
Yeah.
Right?
Who gets the access? That's
yeah.
really what it is.
Yeah. And sometimes we get a bad rap from the hikers because we go past them too fast. Now, I try not to. In fact, usually if I see a hiker, I offer them water on the trail.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was trail monitoring this year and had some folks come back off of running on Gold Bar Rim and didn't realize how much water they were going to go through. And when they came off they came back. I'm like, hey, guys need some water? Oh, you got water? Yeah. How many do you want? There was 3 of them, and I had a whole case in the
Right.
cooler.
Right.
Hydrate up.
Yeah. And one of the things we had Tyler Quinn on last time and talked a little bit about Clay Egan and
Mm-hmm.
his story. And one of the things I think kind of gets left out of the discussion sometimes is about the access for all.
Mm-hmm.
And that one of the awesome things about off-roading is that folks with disabilities who can't get out and hike,
Right.
whatever their condition is, you know,
They get-
quadriplegic
yeah.
to I've got
Well,
knee issues and I can't walk
You know,
for more than
I'm
a
a
mile.
disabled vet. I
Right.
mean, it makes it really hard for me to get up into the hills.
Exactly.
And so, under the Americans with Disability Act, I mean, there's a lot of
Absolutely.
questions about closing off trails and roads.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into where roads cross private property.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a big stickler too,
Yeah.
because of there's laws like RS 2477, which doesn't get much traction these days. But we have to respect when if you got a county road going across somebody's property, then it's an open road. You can't close
Right.
it.
Right.
But be respectful of gates. If there's
Right.
a gate, you open the gate, you go through it, you close the gate. Don't leave the gate open. Some of these guys are trying to make a living with horses and cattle.
Right.
Don't go hauling across their property.
Right.
You might hit hit their livestock. And so, there's some cautions that have to be done, and some people do it and some people don't. Don't go across their property if it's raining too hard, because you tear up the trail, you rut the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the more you rut it and rut it and rut it and rut it, then other vehicles can't go down it. So now the farmer can't take his, stock 3/4 ton, which I hope to God is a Dodge diesel. Layton Hills Dodge, Layton, Utah. Anyway, a plug for my little company.
Yeah. There you go.
And so we got to be respectful of those kind of things,
Right.
and then you can't cherry stem the trail. Okay, now through here it's gotten real rutted, so now we're going to go up here,
Right.
and we've all seen these pictures, we've all seen it done. I mean, you've got to take care of the trails. And as a good friend of mine, Steve, said one time, you need to put an hour and a half in for every hour you put in on the trail. So put an hour and a half in of public service and keeping the trails clean and keeping public lands public.
That was one thing I was wondering about. What are the big things, the big complaints that get brought up, which I think you probably covered several of them. What are the big complaints that get brought up to where, what is the ammunition for the people that want to close it down? Because I know one thing would be so when I've gone to Moab, I used to love going out on Poison Spider when I had time to go off-roading back in the fun days. But I'd go out and Poison Spider all the time, once a year. And it seemed like there was just spots where you'd come up to them and then a year later there was maybe, and you're talking, it's just because the road's a little rough right there,
Mhm.
and Poison Spider can be pretty long,
Right.
right? It's a lot of weaving and everything like that.
Gold bar
But
rim.
it's just,
Yeah.
there you go. But so the trail suddenly in this spot where it's just a little rougher, now all of a sudden the trail is a 3-lane road
Yeah.
because
that's-
somebody didn't want to drive slower over this section of rock.
Right. And they would wonder, it gets worn out, it gets
Mhm.
dug out, and it makes it more and more harder to get up there. And so people go off to this side, they go off to that side, and you've got what was this is now 3 lanes wide.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why the BLM requires us to do trail monitoring on some of the trails down there during the Easter Jeep Safari. They
Mhm.
want the safari to go in and come back out.
Yeah.
Okay, I monitored Gold Bar Rim. I did this last year on Tuesday and Saturday. So, we go in and I respectfully tell people, hey, I'm just to inform you that this trail is closed. You can go past, but
Mm-hmm.
this trail is closed. And then some people say, well, this is public land. How can it be closed? Well, they make money off of us. We pay dearly. The Red Rock four-wheelers pay dearly for the permits to use that land, and a lot of other organizations piggyback off that. So we monitor the trail to make sure that we don't have people coming head on, because then it causes people to have to go
Right.
wider.
Yep.
And so that's the way that way is. Same thing with Hell's Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite trails down there, Hell's Revenge.
Yeah.
Broke my teeth in on that one. That's the first one. One of the first trails I did in Moab was Hell's Revenge,
Mm.
and I did that in a stock Ram Charger. You
Really?
remember-
Wow.
You remember the old Ram Charger?
Yeah.
And so we, And so I've trail monitored that one too. It was one of the original ones. And what my job was is to keep people from going in, to ask people not to go in the back door to Hell's Revenge, because it's a one-way trail.
Yep.
And they didn't want people going in and then meeting Safari and then going around it. So, and that's what should be done all the times. I mean, you got to stay off. You got to stay off the crypto soil down there.
Cryptogamic soil.
Yeah, cryptogamic soil, the crypto.
Yep. Which is
Do folks know what
everywhere,
that
by the
is?
way.
Yeah.
That's if you see black soil,
Right.
you see black soil, don't go on it. Don't
Yeah.
step on the crypto.
Yeah.
It's like a black top.
Yeah. It just
like
looks.
growing.
It
It's
looks
a fungus.
Yeah.
Like
is
a
that what it
fungus.
is?
Yeah,
It's
like
some sort of microbe, and it's growing.
It's like
in
a
there.
fungus among us.
Yeah, and the minute you run over it, right? It's
destroyed.
It's destroyed.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Everything will come back. But, we want it to come back. We don't want to destroy it in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay? It's got a purpose. It helps keep the dust down.
Yeah.
Okay. So you destroy it, and then it's got to grow back, and you've now created more places for dust to brew out there. And dust could be a problem. I mean, we don't want dust all. It's a desert.
Yeah.
It's dusty. I understand that. But when you're on the trails and you're trying not to kick up more dust and create dust for everybody else, I mean, it does come out of the parks. It does blow into town and stuff like that. So you want to keep the dust down, creating dust as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get out there and trails get dug out and more, and that's why we have the scale of 1 to 10 on the trails. And sometimes one year you'll go down there and the trail's a 7, and next year it's an 8.
Yeah.
And it's simply because it's gotten harder to get up the ledges and requires more gear to get up them.
Yeah.
It requires bigger set of tires. It requires lockers.
It's pretty interesting how it doesn't take much for them to change. I know I'm not going to name any names on this story, but I know of a story where it was during Easter Jeep Safari where somebody was out on Pritchett Canyon.
I know the story.
There was a breakdown, and it just took one guy just going, well, instead of helping him off the rock, right, and everything like that, they didn't want to help him off. So instead of helping him off, they just went around and
up through the fence.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, they went around, and that was
went off the trail.
It tore everything up.
Stay the trail.
Yeah. Yep.
Spencer will tell you,
much.
stay the trail.
All it takes is just somebody. So those guys went through, and it wasn't major damage, but you could see their tracks going through. And then
once it starts,
once it starts, all of a sudden everybody that comes up behind that, they're like, oh, I guess we can go this way.
Yeah. You got to be a pretty capable driver to do Pritchett.
Yeah, you do.
And a pretty capable rig.
You do. Yeah. That's a nasty one. I've never gone through the entirety of Pritchett. I know too many people that have got stuck out there in the middle of the night. So
every year it seems like when I'm trail monitoring, I get somebody that comes up to me. Oh man, I was out there last night and I broke my rig and we're here to recover it. And I'll look and I'll say, oh, okay, you got parts and stuff with you. Okay, go on out. And, I let them, I'm like, okay, go fix your rig. Hey, is Rusty now? No, because they have 2 vehicles. I'm like, no, you can only take 1 vehicle. Put all your parts in 1 vehicle. Go out there and recover your vehicle. Okay, because they wanted to fix the vehicle and then go run Rusty Nail.
Yeah.
Off a Golden Spike, and I'm sorry, the trail's closed until is reserved until Safari comes off the trail. About sometimes 3 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it is when it is.
Yeah.
And this year, boy, they just zoomed through it. But anyway, and I had one guy. I was the first year trail monitoring, and so I'm like, oh no, it's closed. You can't do this. You can't go back there right now. And, you don't want to run into a Safari and everything. And the guy broke into tears. Oh. It's my wife's daily driver, and if I don't get it back to her tomorrow, I'm going to be a driver. And he broke into tears.
For real.
For reals. I mean, I'm just like, oh, dude, you broke my heart. Okay, go. Just go. Just go. Go. And I got back and I was talking to the people I report to, and they're like, yeah, you can let them through for things like that. And I'm like, okay, because I didn't get that in the briefing.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, use your own discretion when you're out there. I'm like, oh, okay. So
I'm sure he apprecited that too.
yeah,
He
he appreciated that.
Very grateful for that.
Yeah, I handed him a roll of toilet paper to wipe his eyes.
Yeah,
Anyway, but I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Big
Sarge has a heart.
That's right.
Right?
I'm not an ogre.
Santa.
I might be ugly, but I'm not an ogre. Anyway, But yeah, it's the trails are lots of things, and some people want to. Steve's team, he's always out there trying to, you make an agreement. Well, now we want to go after this piece of property, and so you fight there, and then they go, well, now we're going to go after this piece of property, or we're going to go after this trail, or we're going to go after these rules, or it's always, and that's what these people are paid to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their existence in life.
And we need to highlight this as a reality. That's the thing. Like I'm all about the environment.
Right.
I love the environment,
Yes,
right?
yes,
But there's
yes.
environmental groups that literally, this is what and I'll tell you right now, if the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association ever turns into this, that's where we're going to have a problem, right? It's where all of a sudden a whole bunch of lawyers get behind it, and there's a bunch of money, and lawyers are like, well, I need money, right? It's paying their paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have millions and often tens of millions of dollars, and it's like they're never this is what the environmental groups, or you see this with just all sorts of groups, they're never satisfied.
No, and so they go to court.
Yeah.
And they use an act. I can't remember the name of the act right now. I'm getting old, I can't remember everything. And but there's a law out there, so they sue the federal government over this issue with trails, this issue with land access. It could be access. It could be how much access there is. It could be trying to shrink down trails. It could be shrinking an area up. Well, then what they do is they go back to the court and say, we want to be paid. We want our lawyers covered. And they submit a bill to the federal government for their lawyers.
Really?
Yes. So you and me and everybody out there pays for them to sue the federal government. And that's how these people make a living.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's their only purpose in life. I mean, now my purpose in life is to fight them.
Yeah.
Okay. But their purpose in life is to sue the federal government. That's all they're for. I mean, they have their
that's
beliefs.
where they make their money. You know what I
They
mean?
have their beliefs, but that's their job. I do it as an unpaid volunteer. They do it as a paid corporation.
As a paid position.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's where they make their cash flow.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of my most difficulties. It's a personal difficulty I have when I see, and I kind of watch this with a lot of nonprofits, just nonprofits in general, is what you'll find a lot of them. It's like, how much money are they really giving to that charity? Or what is the charity giving? Because there's nonprofits they'll collect tens of millions of dollars easily, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And then you're like, okay, so where's the money going? Your presumption is it's going towards whatever that charity is, whether it's military or whether it's this or whether it's that. And then what you find is like, oh no, so what we do is we spend 8% on awareness. Well, how do you do that? Well, we'll run TV commercials, or that's the kind of stuff, right? Parties, or they dinners, or which they're going to these dinners, and part of this dinner is they talk about it, but then they're doing it to get more money, right?
Well, yeah, there's fundraisers.
So
and at the Blue Ribbon Coalition, we're not all volunteers.
Right.
We have paid executives. We pay attorneys because we have to file briefs against organizations like SUA.
Yeah.
On a national level, we're fighting. We've helped with with legislation at Blue Ribbon. We help with, different states throughout the country, not just here in Utah. Utah's got a strong representation right now and is a big supporter of the Blue Ribbon Coalition. And our, unfortunately, we have to raise money to pay the lawyers,
right,
to fight this. Now, the good thing is, a lot of the times we get a lot of free legal assistance. And stuff like that. Unfortunately, unlike, say SUA, we can't turn around and tell the government, hey, give us money because we help fight this. Doesn't work like that.
Makes sense.
So, we have fundraisers, and the money from our organization does go to awareness, but also to help fight to keep the trails open.
Right. But I mean,
and Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association, we're more of a boots on the ground organization. We help with trail cleanups, and things like that. I mean, and help clubs put on events, which in turn helps raise money for us. Right now, we just gave $10,000 from the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association to the Desert Rats down in southern Utah, which is the Desert Roads and Trails Society. It's just not the Desert Rats. It's got a real name. It's just kind of a short thing, Desert Rats.
Yeah.
Desert Roads and Trails Society. And UPLA, and we're all working together to, down at Sand Hollow, there's a parking area by the tanks, by the water tanks. Okay? They're going to put another water tank up there. Well, that's going to take up all the rest of the parking that's up there. So we're going to work, we're working with the federal government to create an area where we can put in a parking area, and we're actually paying for it.
Cool.
So it's about a $200,000 project.
Yeah.
With the equipment, the gravel, and
Well,
everything else.
and that's what I mean right there. So it's like you're actually putting the money towards
right.
what you're supporting.
Winter
you know what I mean?
Winter 4x4 Jamboree down in southern Utah, which actually started off many years ago.
Right.
I'm
With a
even
different
thinking
name.
I'm even thinking it was the last century. Started off as the Winter 4x4, Winter
Jamboree?
Utah 4x4 Winter Convention.
Oh, okay.
But then when we morphed into not putting on events anymore, then the clubs down there took it over, and it's now gotten to be the Winter 4x4 Jamboree. It is one of the best events in Utah. And we have Trail Hero, which is in the fall.
Right.
So
October time-ish. Isn't it around October?
first week of October. Right.
Yeah.
First week of October. And that's another great event put on there. And the Winter 4x4 Jamboree money is, and also some of the money from the Trail Hero down there, and there's other events down there, have gone to help put in toilets up in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I mean, the ladies really like the toilets in the hills.
We love them.
Yes.
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 So nice.
And these days now, believe it or not, there's rules on putting in a toilet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, guarantee, yeah.
Yeah.
Environmental things.
Environmental things.
Yeah.
The ones we put in down there have been they bioengineer the waste
Nice.
so that it can be recycled.
Mm-hmm.
So, when that breaks, we got to pay for that to be fixed. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good
You know.
stuff. See, that's interesting. A lot
Stinky, but good.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't really think they realize that some of those facilities that exist are actually privately funded. I
Right.
think they think, oh yeah, this is all public. This is all just handed to us. This is all just part of park services or something like that.
Nothing's. You have to do like the Red Rock four-wheelers have to pay for environmental studies, permits and stuff like that, and it gets expensive. I mean, people say, well, I've got to pay $45 to be guided down a trail. I mean, or $50. There's a reason why. I mean, we have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've had people who just come down for safari and then get hurt and turn around and try to sue the Red Rock four-wheelers because they got hurt during safari.
Mm-hmm.
Their accident
It's a
had
stretch.
nothing to do with safari,
Right.
Right.
but
It just happened. They happened to be there when
They
it
happened to be
coincided.
there,
Yeah.
and, actually they were. Hey, it's safari. We're having a good time, and
Yep.
Interesting.
things happen, and then it's all safari's fault. So we have to have lots of insurance,
Yeah.
not just there, but at Trail Hero, at Winter 4x4 Jamboree, all the events throughout Utah. We got the Vernal event coming up. Rally on the Rocks
Man,
That's a lot.
coming up in June.
I didn't even know about that event.
The 11th,
No, most of these,
12th, 13th.
all the events that we're talking about, most of all
Right.
this we're talking about, this is just day-to-day trail running kind of thing, right? That's pretty much what most of it is.
Trail Hero has got some interesting factors in with it. We put on a super crawl with that.
Okay.
Rich Klein puts on a super crawl,
Mm-hmm.
and it was. He's taken over the super crawl now, and he'll be putting that on down there this year. Prior 2 years, it was also there. He puts on a couple of different competitions down there, like the Trailbreaker, where you're literally going where nobody has gone before. And these are super buggies. And they're some of the top drivers in the country. You have to be invited. You don't show up and go do the Trailbreaker. You don't just show up to run Supercrawl. I mean, these are events you're invited to because you're the best of the best in the country. So,
That's pretty
or
cool.
actually internationally too, because we got guys that come in from Japan
Really?
Wow.
and from Australia. That's just the ones I know of. There's been some from Mexico. There's been some from Canada.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's literally an international event. Supercrawl is just wow, and that started off as a UROC event,
Yeah.
and I had the honor of announcing several of them, including in Vegas.
So they're still doing that? I mean, UROC, does UROC even exist
No,
anymore?
UROC's not doing it anymore. Supercrawl is its own identity.
It's its own
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, things change hands,
Mm-hmm.
move around.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was with this group, and now it's with that group. So
Yep. Yeah, I think when we had Tyler on, we were talking about that exact thing. We were talking about what's still left. UROC's not really, doesn't so much
no,
exist.
UROC doesn't exist. WeRock does. Rich Klein and WeRock is still.
He's doing a couple small events here and there, isn't he?
And you got Rich Klein and you got Rich Klein. There's two Kleins.
And they're both named Rich?
They're both named Rich. I'm not gonna. Well, okay. There used to be Big Rich and Little Rich,
Yeah.
and there's Rich C. Klein now, and there's Rich Klein.
Oh, okay.
And so, I've known those guys forever. Great guys.
Yeah.
Great guys. And so, Rich Klein down in the younger one
Mm-hmm.
lives down in Hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane area, maybe Laverkin.
Right.
Hurricane, Laverkin.
St. George would have
I've
worked.
heard it's kind of windy down there. I don't know. So he does the Trail Hero, and he has now taking over Supercrawl, and I believe he's going to be doing 5 events throughout Utah this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to include Hurricane, Vernal, Cedar City at Three Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where the other 2 are at.
So
I believe it's 5.
a little more competition-based rock crawling.
Oh, it's
stuff.
very
Technical.
It's very
Yeah.
competition based.
Yeah.
Very technical.
It seems like Ultra 4 is the dominant thing right now in those areas.
Dave Cole has done an outstanding job with King of the Hammers and Ultra 4, and you've got to qualify to become a king to go to the King of the Hammers
Right.
in the top classes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just don't get to show up. You know, it's not a bring your junk kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and his team takes over the lake bed out there, and
Well, that's
just
amazing.
does a outstanding job. One of the best events
Mm-hmm.
In the country.
You literally
I
have a
mean,
city that just
Yeah, just a city that pops up and
Yeah.
it just pops up. It's in the middle of a lake bed, so it's not like you're going to tear anything up. I mean,
Right.
it's a dry lake bed, so
Mhm.
and which has made it interesting a couple times when it's rained out there. There's been a few stories to tell about that. I mean, and there's a few events out there that just anybody can enter too. I mean, they have the one nighttime crawling.
right.
I can't remember the name of that one. But like I said, Dave Cole and his team have just done, an outstanding
Yeah.
job with that. I mean, it's just unreal. And you've still got some other rock crawling. There's still other rock crawling companies out there too that do great jobs. But King of the Hammers, to me, that's one of the, that's when I'm not doing public lands anymore and I'm not doing announcing for other stuff. I have announced for Dave Cole before, and would love to do it again out there at King of the Hammers. I want to go out to the King of the Hammers. That's on my bucket list.
This
I
last
just only have so much vacation from working the real job
Yeah.
that allows me to go out and do the other jobs.
Yeah. This last what was it, January? Right? That's when they do it.
Yeah,
This last time they did it, they actually made national news as far as because of they just had a picture on it. It was like, I can't remember what the title was, but they were referencing city that pops up overnight of off-roaders in the middle of the desert, draws concern for no masks, right? Because it was like, it shows all these people there's tons of people standing around on the rocks and none of them are wearing masks and stuff like that. And
I didn't hear of any, I haven't heard of anybody at any of our events and
having any COVID issues?
have any
or-
COVID issues.
I haven't either.
I feel sorry for the people who have gotten sick from COVID.
Mhm. Have you got
I wish 'em-
vaxxed?
I've got my shots.
Both of them?
Yep.
Did you? Nice.
Yep, yep.
How'd you do in the
VA.
second one?
I was going through a very stressful time in my life.
Oh, wait. Was that when you had to run to Texas?
That's when I had to make my run
Oh,
to Texas,
yeah.
and so I was so stressed out that I wouldn't have known if I was sick or not.
Oh.
I didn't have time. I didn't have time to notice if I had issues.
Mm-hmm.
I had something to do, and I had to do it, and so I went to Texas, did it, and got it done. Got back here and
That's
went to
impressive.
Moab. I got back here and
Jeez, yeah.
got things taken care of, and
Got it taken care of, yeah.
then went to Moab.
We get our second shots here.
Coming up. in a
Coming up.
days.
Couple days.
Yeah,
You get it
Yeah.
done.
that's the man sticking it to you.
Got to get it done, man.
Yeah, I got it because I can travel for the government if I need to.
Mhm.
My wife's had both hers. She's going to Hawaii to take care of her mother for a month in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
People want to travel. Yeah,
People do
makes
want to
sense.
travel. I think it's really
Yeah.
good. People get it.
hopefully
I mean,
getting us back to normality.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, to me, this is like, you've been around long enough, right? So
I've been around for a while.
you've been around for a little while. So, but I don't remember the moonshot, right? I don't remember the man walking on the moon. I wasn't alive for that, right? That was before my time, several years, right? But in comparative, if you think about the technological advance, because I did once upon a time, spoiler alert, once upon a time, I hate doing this, but I studied microbiology. That was my plan was to go into medicine. It was like, what takes me to medicine? It was zoology or microbiology or whatever, right? So I picked microbiology. So I got pretty far along in that before I decided to switch. But the advancement that we're dealing with being able to actually have a vaccine in the short amount of time that actually works as good as it does, it's very effective, and the extremely small amount of deaths
Side effects.
side effects or even deaths that might be attributed to it, it's incredible. It literally is incredible. So to me, it's one of the most amazing feats of mankind. You know how it's like, if you study enough history, like I don't want to say I'm a NASA nerd, or if that just came with growing up in the 80s with the Challenger and all that kind of stuff, right? It was a big fascinating thing. The space shuttle was a big amazing thing, but all the technical advancements that came from space exploration were amazing. I just can't wait to see what actually is going to come from COVID, from the technical advances of the vaccines.
Well,
I think you're going to talk about amazing things in the future that'll come from this.
the Apollo 13 mission, which had some bad issues.
Yeah, that one didn't quite work as well.
As well as they had
But they
planned.
got home.
They got
right?
home. They got home.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was selling Dodges
Mm-hmm.
in 1995,
Mm-hmm.
the Intrepid had more computer power
Then
than the
That
Apollo
entire-
13 that
yeah.
went to the moon and back.
Yep.
Crazy. That is crazy.
And now,
Oh yeah, light
No.
years beyond.
light years. I
Isn't
mean,
it amazing?
if you'd said something like this when I was a kid, or even when I was in the Army, that one day,
We'd all have a tracking device that
yeah,
could access anything in the world.
And listen in on your conversation.
my wife knows where I am all the time. Love you, honey. So I was around when even Jeep vehicles. Okay, we started off with the CJ5
Mm.
and the MB3
Mm-hmm.
and the World War II Fords and Jeeps,
Yeah.
and so you've got how those have come along.
Right.
Okay, and then you go to the CJ6 and the CJ8 and the CJ7, and then you go to the Jeep
Right.
Wrangler,
Mhm.
and you go to the TJ,
TJ. Yep.
and then the JK,
Mm-hmm. And then JL now.
JL now,
Mhm.
the JLs. I mean, just how things have progressed. I mean, you could take a stock Rubicon and do most trails in Moab.
Mm-hmm. It's
Most trails.
amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. Where my Ram Charger had a hard time.
Yeah.
And I've had the TJ Rubicon and just loved it down there, Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And just the technology that's gone into them, and all the great companies like yourself, and companies like Advanced Adapters
Mm-hmm.
and Summit Machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Summit Machine.
Shout out to Jolene.
Yeah,
Awesome.
shout out to Julene.
Mm-hmm.
And and then all the shows that have come from these kind of things too. When we're doing this podcast, you've got 4x4 TV, and the shows like Ian and the crew and our. We miss you, Jesse.
Yes, we do.
And her shows and the stuff that she did.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the stuff, and it gets more popular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go down, and now everybody wants to have a Rubicon.
Yeah.
Or Jeep, or even
Yeah.
the new Gladiator.
Yeah.
You guys got to. Hey, by the way, love that Gladiator sitting out front. That
Thank
big
you.
red beast.
I love that
pretty.
thing. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's who drives that? Sarah.
I get to drive it
We switch
sometimes.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we bought that, this really happened. I ordered that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because it's a launch edition, right? Got a launch edition. They sent like this wooden sword, right? It's got my name on it. I was like, whatever. It's pretty cool, right? Anybody that got a launch edition got one. So I'm like, oh, this is sweet. And we go to pick this thing up, and she basically tells me, hey, this is mine. And I'm like, wait, what?
My name's on the paperwork.
I
That's all
don't.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right?
If this
I'm
doesn't
on
work
the
out,
loan.
I don't get it. It's gone. It's hers.
Okay.
So, little unhappy about that
Well,
one, but I still get to drive
Previously to that, we had the JL,
Right.
which
We
was
did.
supposed to be mine. I keep hearing that I'm going to get to drive this TJ someday when it gets
it.
fixed.
Eventually.
Right?
Needs a
And
new
I
starter
never
now.
got to drive the JL ever.
Rap Patrol
Dude,
needs a
So
starter.
No, not the Rap Patrol.
Oh.
Rap Patrol's fine.
No, we
It's
had a
just I don't
white.
think she wants to roll around with a minigun,
I'm
dent
totally
in
down.
traffic.
I'm totally down driving traffic with that minigun on top because I just
exactly what you want in
because
traffic.
any cop that would pull me over
Yeah,
once that he or she found out what is up there
yeah.
would be like, oh, cool, let me check it out.
No, that's
that's
That's what happens. When we went at SEMA, we got pulled over by I don't know. I wasn't there who got pulled over. It was Robert and somebody else they were all driving.
Robert. I can't imagine Robert being pulled
Oh
over.
yeah, it was
no,
so
can't.
weird.
No,
yeah. No, but it's because he was kind of like
Okay, yeah.
you drive it from the show over to the hotel, right? And
right.
that's where you go. He didn't drive it from. He was like, I'm going to drive up the strip a few
I wanna
times,
drive
right?
up,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Who doesn't do
so
that?
yeah, he got pulled over. They got pulled over, but the cops were just like, "This is awesome. Can we take pictures of this?" And that's what it was.
Can we
So-
take pictures of your totally illegal vehicle on
Yeah.
the streets of Vegas? Yeah. That's when I've had it at the shows, I've had let the kids climb. We've let the kids climb up into it and everything, and I've taken it to Hill Air Force Base. We
Yeah.
took it to we took it to Hill, and it took an hour and a half to get it in the gate.
Yeah.
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 That was kind of interesting. I think that went all the way up to a lieutenant colonel before anybody understood what it was, and that wasn't functional that day. Yeah. Some people's kids. Yeah. Hey, security got to take care of that.
Got to do his job. Those MPs got to do their job.
No, they're SPs.
Oh,
Sky.
excuse me. Right.
Sky Patrol.
Sky Patrol. That's almost as ridiculous sounding as Space Force, dude. Is that seriously what it is? Are they Sky Patrol?
No, they're just called SPs. Security Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah, my buddy Dick Dunsford. I'm poking good fun at him right now.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we grew up together, and he became a Sky Cop.
Oh, okay. That's what you call them. Sky Cops? That's the nickname?
Well, and then when it comes to the MPs, you can't spell wimp without an MP.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know. Me and my more dad jokes. I tell you. Okay, so
By the way,
What was-
I wasn't ripping on Space Force, by the way. I'm all about Space Force. Space Force is good. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm not big on the name. Galactic something maybe would have been better. Anyway, go ahead, Sarge.
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
the first ship up can be the Battlestar Galactica. Anyway,
Exactly.
so anyway, we've had a lot of fun with that, the Rat Patrol, and you've taken some great pictures out in the desert with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the desert's always an interesting place. We get a lot of calls for recovery out there where people think it's hard packed and it's not.
Oh, yeah. Like you're talking anywhere around the salt flats.
Yeah.
People don't realize that you could, well, not just the salt flats, I mean, but anywhere around the Great Salt Lake.
Right.
You might think that's
I've-
nice and hard, but
I actually hit a hole one time going around the edge of the Great Salt Lake, and I thought I was good.
Mhm.
No, I ended up at like a 45-degree angle
really
with
in the
nasty
mud.
stuff coming up through my doors.
Oh, it's so stinky too.
Oh,
it's the worst.
So stinky.
I sold that truck so quickly after that. I only paid $400 to begin with. So what the
Clean
heck?
one owner,
Clean.
right?
It was a one owner. I had to clean the wasp nests out of the rocker panels when I picked it up, It was a
Sitting around, huh?
1975 Trail Duster with a 440 under the hood.
Plymouth, right?
Plymouth
That was a
Trail Duster, yes.
Yeah.
They're a rare duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Very rare.
They have some good fun. I had some good fun with that truck.
Hmm.
I had some good fun with that truck. And wish I'd restored it.
Really?
Yeah, I wish I'd restored it. Well, you don't see many big block.
No, you don't really.
You know,
It's not
Trail
really a
Dusters
thing
or
anymore.
Ram Chargers.
You know? Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't know. Like, yeah.
That and the Bronco were about the only ones. I don't ever remember the 454 coming in a Blazer.
Yeah.
But you could get a big block in a Bronco.
Hmm.
And when
Could
they
you
went to
really?
when they went to the big Broncos,
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
like the 79, 80-ish
Yeah, yeah.
time frame, you could get a big block.
Well,
You could get 460.
Yeah. They went to big Broncos, and then they brought back the Bronco 2, which was a small Bronco
yeah,
car.
the
Right?
baby Bronco. It's so cute.
Yeah.
It was so cute. Larry Olsen had a blast in the Broncos. But
Speaking about Broncos, did you put one on order? Did you all go? I mean, I know you have a Jeep still, right? Or no?
no, I've got the Power Wagon.
You just got the Power Wagon.
Yeah, I sold the TJ.
Sold the TJ.
Yeah, my back doesn't let me get in and out of a TJ very well, and so
No,
I
pretty
decided I wanted something that was more fitting my size.
Can
So
we-
I went to the Power Wagon.
Yeah. Okay. That
It's
makes
like
sense.
it's like a Rubicon on steroids.
Right. Yeah,
I'm running 37s on a stock suspension.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're very capable.
Oh, yeah.
Is the truth of it. Very capable. So what was that weird fetish you had for a little while with those Suzuki things?
Oh, the Suzuki
What a-
X90.
Yeah. What's
I've-
going on there? Like it's like you.
Fat
we go
man
through this, like-
in a little car. Yeah, the Suzuki X90 was I'm not gonna say limited production because they sold as many as they could. They sold about 13,000 of them between 96 and 98.
That's not very many.
No, in the United States, no, it's not very many. It was Econo box, so a lot of people trashed them,
Yeah.
put them away.
It looked like a blown up Honda Del Sol to me. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like a Honda Del Sol
jacked Honda Del Sol.
or a Mazda Miata
Yeah,
that
exactly.
needs to go to Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I fit in the damn thing.
Really?
I can-
Comfortably?
Comfortably.
Really?
Comfortably, yes.
Fascinating.
In fact, my old boss, Paul Geiger, was bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him would go to lunch in the car. It was like these two great big guys come out of this little tiny box. But the cool thing is, see, the X90 is built on a Suzuki Sidekick frame.
Okay.
Okay. And it uses all Suzuki Sidekick driveline.
So it's pretty capable then.
So it's a very capable little vehicle. A lot of guys do the same thing to it that they do to the Sidekicks. I mean, we're talking they either put a Toyota straight axle or a Samurai straight axle underneath the front end, lift it. I mean, there's a couple of companies like Rocky Mountain Outfitters.
Mm-hmm.
They sell a lot of stuff for it, like a 2-inch body lift and a 3-inch suspension, 2.5-inch suspension lift.
I don't think people realize just how capable Suzukis were. You know what I mean? They're so tiny.
You know, I like thinking of the one day when I was sitting at the light at 30th and 1900 heading south.
Mm-hmm.
Snow-packed road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in my little tiny car, and this great big Ford Monster diesel lifted, truck comes up next to me. And he kind of at me coming off the light. It's hard-packed snow, dude. What do you want to do? But, I'm like, okay, who am I to pass a challenge, even in a Suzuki X90? And so I locked it in four-wheel drive,
Mm-hmm.
and I come off that light, second gear, and I just scoot right across that intersection. Dude hit the four-wheel drive in that truck and just goes sideways. And I'm like, bye-bye. And so, and it's kind of cool. It's got T-tops in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a capable little off-roader. It'll go places that other things won't. Other things will go places it won't. But
Right.
you can really, Shane and Steve down at Low Range Off-Road
Mm-hmm.
built a real cool one. You've probably seen pictures on some of my Facebook pages of one they call Tweety.
Hmm.
And it's now living a life of luxury over in Denver, Colorado.
Oh. I'm hoping it's yellow, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
they called it Tweety.
Yeah, and they had a picture of Tweety on the hood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they did a great rap on that one. And then I drove my X90 down to their shop in Provo one day, or Orem, sorry. Drove down to Orem to their shop, and Steve goes, "You drove that all the way from Ogden?" And I said, "I drive this thing all over the place." And he's like, "Okay."
So here's my question then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're doing
That's
good.
25 years old. on the
Yeah.
car,
But you're doing good with your Ram right now. But
Yeah.
so many people put their money down on the Bronco. So many people
That's nice.
jumped on the Bronco.
That's nice. The what?
The Bronco?
The what?
The Bronco.
My
What-
favorite is the box Bronco.
The bigger one?
The box Bronco.
Which one's that?
That's the original.
Original.
The original Bronco.
OG.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah, and that's I like the original box Bronco. I've got a great sponsor up in Camas, Utah, Sexton Off Road.
Right?
They
Dustin.
Dustin, who
Dusty
is a
Dustin.
retired Marine gunny sergeant,
Hmm.
and his wife.
He was a he really is?
He's a retired. Yes, he's a retired. Marine
I knew he was
gunny
military.
sergeant.
Yeah.
Reserves. He was reserves.
Reserves? Okay.
Yeah, he just killed people on weekends.
Dear.
No, he served overseas.
Yeah.
His wife Laura,
Mm-hmm.
she is retired senior master chief.
Oh, wow.
Navy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Very cool.
and she works grooming the trails, keeping the trails open in the wintertime up at Deer Valley.
Mm.
He is also a fire captain for the Park City Fire Department.
Right. Is he the fire captain? I
He
knew
is
he
a
was
fire captain. I mean,
really?
captains, you got chief and then you got captains.
He is a fire.
And I used to be an old Army firefighter.
Hmm.
So, first 3 years in the Army, I just sat in a red truck and watched airplanes, helicopters go up and down, up and down.
That sounds like
Exciting.
And your
quite
dad
the
was a
day
helicopter
job.
pilot.
He was.
Yeah.
Dust off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Medevac.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, what you're telling me is you're not getting a Bronco.
You kind of dodged that one.
I'm kind of not a person to jump on a bandwagon.
I see.
I want to see how it does. I
You
want to
wanna
see
s-
what they start making for it. When you start making, like it's got the goat in it.
Right. Goat mode and all that.
Goat. I mean, the
Mhm.
7-position goat mode. And,
Mm-hmm.
because the Bronco got lost in the mountains and was found by the goats. Anyway,
Is that the story? No.
have you
I-
seen the commercial?
I don't
No,
know.
no.
It's.
I
yeah,
haven't.
I laugh.
I played with goat mode in the sport, and I was like, okay, well, this-
Yeah, that's cool.
okay. So this is an easy way to turn off your traction control. That's what I thought.
So
of
when
it.
you start getting to the point where the government's over-regulated us,
Mhm.
and you've, I'd never work for the government.
And now you have goat modes.
Yeah, and now you got goat mode. Yeah. So you've got, they have to make everything so technical, the
Mhm.
suspension and everything else. So it'll be interesting to see who develops what for these newer vehicles. As far as suspension, lift kits. I mean, it's a nice vehicle the way it is.
Right.
Okay, and it's a capable off-roader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but to take it to the next step, what's it going to take to do that compared to a Jeep?
Right.
Which, face it, that's what they're going after.
No,
Yeah.
that's
They're not going,
it's
they're not
definitely.
going after the.
yeah.
They're not going after the Blazer.
They're going toe to toe with Jeep on
Yeah,
this. so.
this is an all out.
Yeah.
Who's got the coolest stuff?
Mhm.
And the Bronco name, I mean, it's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made wonderful vehicles for decades,
Mm-hmm.
and for the last century.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we refer to the last century now. And
That's wild, huh?
and
You're
so
literally talking a century that Ford's been around.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ford's been around a long time.
That's pretty crazy. Yep.
And so they're making a very capable vehicle, but it's going to be interesting to see what the accessories are going to be able to be for this. Outside of, are you developing a bumper for it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Front, rear bumper,
So that's right. Watch the website,
racks,
Expedition
all
One,
sorts of good stuff. As soon as we can get a hold of one,
Yeah.
and let's see what we get going there. But the suspension is going to be something. I don't remember what it had for a front suspension.
It's
Was
it's independent.
It's independent, so it's going to really limit it on what it's able to do. And I think they've got height adjustment. Did
I don't know if
height
they have.
adjustment?
No, they have sway bar disconnect though.
They have sway bar
Front sway bar
disconnect. Okay.
disconnect. Yeah.
So that'll make it. And so, they're going to, drop arm, kits are going to probably be made for it. It's going to be interesting to see who comes up and starts developing that.
I honestly think this thing is going to be one of the most capable off-roaders out there.
Well, a lot of racers have done IFS front suspensions.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys moving towards IFS.
And there's a lot of guys that have run straight. And there's been guys who have won, Campbell Enterprises.
Yeah.
Out of
Shannon.
Shannon. And
Shannon gave us a trophy one time. He won something out here at Miller's.
Yeah.
And he just, hey, you guys want a trophy? Gave it to my kids. Just gave him a trophy.
Shannon's a great guy.
I was more nerded out about it than they were. They were like, oh, cool. And I'm like, dude, you realize what this is?
Well, his two kids.
Yeah.
You met his two kids?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, these kids, back when I started announcing for you, Rock, these were little kids running around the course. You're like, get out of here. Get back behind the barrier. Get back there, you little shits. Anyway. And so, and not just them. I mean, the Lovels, and I can just go down a whole list of people whose kids were.
Yeah, they were there. On site.
Yeah.
As part of it.
As part of it, and they have grown up. And now you've got like Bailey Cole now, who is a champion in her own right, and Waylon, Tammy and Shannon's son, a champion in his own right.
Yeah, dude,
he's just
really impressive watching him. I mean, I haven't followed him for a long time, but back.
Oh no, I still
saw
follow
him.
him.
Do you really?
Because to me,
He's a good driver.
Like, I watch these kids grow up. And the families grow and the businesses grow, and so it's like, well, your own kid is doing the engineering over here. And I remember, and he was like, get out of here, you little.
Yeah. We had those days.
Go away, And, the Patey's kids, Ranch's kids, next thing I know, here's, these kids doing all kinds of things.
Nice to have legacies.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, Mark Faulkner started Terraflex, right? And you got Ben running it now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
and
pretty cool.
And sometimes they go to corporates, and for like Rough Country. Tough Country.
Yeah.
Tough Country is now part of Daystar.
Are they now?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Last I talked with Kelly, he was running Tough Country.
Was he?
He was running Daystar.
Oh, was he? Still?
Yeah. No, not still. He had been put as the interim.
Oh, okay.
CEO of Daystar, I believe. I could be off on that.
Huh.
The years go by.
Yeah.
The names flash.
I don't have time to keep track of everything that everyone's doing these days. I used to keep up on it pretty good. I knew what everybody was doing, but now I just too busy keeping up with my own stuff.
Yeah, it's and things become more corporate, and they shrink and they grow, and they shrink and they grow.
It's kind of interesting because I think there's some benefit in some areas to the corporate nature coming into the industry, but at the same time, the biggest problem is when it's just there's a level of where you lose the end enthusiast, right? You'll go to SEMA, and you used to go to SEMA and you knew everybody from all these companies, and you could go over and talk with them, and you could shoot the breeze, and they were all enthusiasts and everything like that. Yeah. Now you'll go to SEMA and you'll be talking to some like 20-something that doesn't know anything about what
doesn't
he's
know where
selling
it came
you.
from.
Yeah,
doesn't know where it came from.
He has no idea.
He knows what he's got an idea what he's selling you. Okay?
Yeah,
he knows his product.
He's got a sales pitch.
He's got a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Has he ever used it?
No.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And it used to be the guy that developed it, built it, and did it in his garage. Was there at SEMA with us, and he was he was showing us how it's done. And he talked. He was just happy to talk to you for like an hour.
Yeah. You still have that in some. I mean, I'm still there.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You're still there. Terraflex.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are great.
You'll see Ben there. You'll see Mark. You'll see.
Yeah. Skyjacker. Skyjacker's still a family-run organization.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yeah.
I just got to say that. I don't really use much of their product, but I got to say they are cool people. They're really good people. I actually used their lift on my JL a little while back.
I had stuff from my Ram Charger from them. I had stuff on my the big white diesel, the Big Sarge diesel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Had Skyjacker stuff on it.
Yeah. It's decent, good equipment, right?
Yeah, a lot
not overly expensive and everything like that. Good price.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the family's getting a little older, and so the youngins are beginning to step up to the pump and everything.
That's the good thing.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it just you know the off-road industry and the off-road family.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I've had the honor of being able to go to SEMA as an invited guest.
Right.
I sit on a board with SEMA. I sit on
okay.
the NAMRAC board,
Mm-hmm.
and so I sit on that down there and help put that on every year. And that's on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Come if you like.
When you say Mondays, you're talking
Monday
Monday.
before
Set
the
up
show.
Monday,
Usually
right
setting
before
up
say,
there.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
usually
A
setting
little
up,
crazy.
and you
Yeah.
know, yeah, we're all trying to smuggle things in to the booth, you know, food and stuff like that.
I know, right?
Yeah. I tried carrying out a set of ramps one day, and they were like, "You can't do that." Oh, okay. So I just went out a different door. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. You know, I love going to SEMA.
Yeah.
I got introduced to that by you know, announcing at UROC,
Mm.
and then we used to do we did the Warren Proving Grounds, and we did the Toyota Proving Grounds down there. We built those for those companies, and it was a lot of blast. It was a lot of blast. That was my first exposure, and then I got on the NAMRAC board, and now I'm an invited guest. I took my
cool.
cousin one year with me. He's an old body shop mechanic. He had his own body shop back in St. Louis, and
I bet he loved it.
he was first off, I was back in St. Louis, and I'm like, "Hey, cuz, you want to go to SEMA?" Well, yeah. I said, "But I can't afford that." I said, "Well, what do you mean you can't afford that?" "I can't afford tickets to SEMA." And he's a business owner, so he could come to SEMA.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, well, "How about I just treat you?"
Mm.
What do you mean? I'm like, "Well, I'll just give you tickets. I can just get you some tickets. I can take care of that for you."
Mhm.
You can get me tickets to SEMA. Now, he's thinking, you know, I'm still, you know, I'm like 50 years old. I'm probably 57 at the time. And he's still thinking, and he's like 70-ish at that time. And I'm like, he's still thinking I'm this little snot-nosed brat, I guess, who lives next door. And I'm like, you know, come on, cuz, I'll take it. Yeah, right, you're going to give me a SEMA, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, yeah, I've got a place for you to stay and everything, because I use timeshares down there, which for SEMA's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
perfect.
I just need someplace, you know, and get up and go. And so he flew in, and I got him his tickets and everything. And, you know, nobody wants to talk to us because all ours say is like, you know, we're guests.
Oh.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're not a purchasing agent. You know, face it, that's who you want to talk to there. You
Yeah.
want to talk to the purchasing agents.
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
talk to some schmo. And, you know, we were walking past BDS.
Okay.
And the guys from BDS all know me because they got BDS and Fox and JKS and all these companies together there. And they're like, "Hey, Sarge, you want a beer?" This is like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, "Hell yeah." And so we walk over there.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, my cousin's like, "What? You know these guys?" I'm like, "Your little cousin's not quite so little anymore."
Yeah.
And so anyway, had a blast. And in fact, it was, I think, one of the last times I got to be with, we were talking about her earlier.
Jesse.
Jessie, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough.
And Jessie was at SEMA. She was with the Warren booth at that time.
Yeah.
And Mike Patton, who was with me, his daughter, Mike Patton and my cousin work on custom rods back in St. Louis. They build them, and show them, and help others with them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what I do in the 4x4 industry, they do in the
Hot rod industry.
hot rod industry in St. Louis, which is also sometimes under attack, the hot rod industry,
Yeah.
which I'm a
Sure.
member of a hot rod club, and I'm not going to go into that. So he was, you know, his daughter was thinking about going to Wyotech or into a school like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessie sat on the board at Wyotech.
Right.
And I walked up to Jessie, and she was just about done with them. And I said, "Jessie, would you do me a favor? And would you, if I did a video, would you tell this girl," and I can't remember your daughter's name. "Would you tell her to go to Wyotech?" And she says, "Yeah, sure." And so we did this little video, and I sent it to his daughter
Mm-hmm.
while she's in school. And so here she gets this personalized message
That's awesome.
from Jessie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, saying, "Hey, go to Wyotech, you know, it's a great school, and blah, 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 and you can do all this other stuff like I do, and this, you know, and this, that, and the other thing." And so that's the family of the off-road,
Yeah.
of the off-road industry.
Yeah.
And, some of the, and we've got so many great people in this industry.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's all kinds of great peoples. Okay, great peoples?
Yeah, you can say that.
You gotta say
Great
that.
peoples.
Pull that
peoples.
off.
There are a lot of great
Yeah.
peoples.
Yeah,
Great
great.
peeps.
Yeah, we got a lot of peeps. And
Yeah.
some we've seen come and some we've seen go.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting at SEMA because SEMA's on this year.
Yeah.
I don't-
We're excited.
It
And
better
I'm
be.
officially, the Big Sarge is
know.
officially announcing that SEMA is on this year. Don't
Yeah.
argue with me about this like you did with Red Rock four-wheelers. So as of right now, SEMA is on.
Yeah.
NAMRAC will be having its meeting, so if you're listening to this and you want to be part of NAMRAC, take a look at our Facebook page and join us.
NAMRAC. That's Monday, right?
That's Monday
During setup,
during the setup.
when everything's chaotic.
When it's
Well,
crazy.
Just stop on into NAMRAC.
Yes, stop our and see, SEMA also sponsors the Blue Ribbon Coalition and gives us a room where we have our annual meeting Saturday and Sunday before that. So I have to get down there Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have meetings Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I get to enjoy the show when I'm not talking to vendors Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then get on my horse and ride back up to Ogden.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's quite the production.
That is quite the production.
Yep.
SEMA
So-
itself is
It's quite the
Oh, it's
production.
quite
crazy.
the production.
Crazy.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's like one of the biggest.
It is the biggest show in North America, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's one other one that they put on there. We're not going to talk about it.
Does it start with? Is it the adult one?
The adult show.
Oh.
That's right. The
Now
adult
here's the thing.
convention.
That one's not nearly as big.
Yeah.
That's
It's
SEMA.
not.
Is that? Okay.
SEMA
think so.
is way bigger.
Yeah, you're not talking about personal experience there. Right?
No, but
No,
I
okay,
do.
all right,
Here's
all
the
right.
thing. So that's the thing. What is it called? Is it called NAM or something like that? Or there's one that's all about, like, I know my brother-in-law
There is-
goes down to it because it's like filmmaking and stuff like that. A lot of
Oh.
guys, it's all about that tech, cameras and stuff like that, right? So same
The
time they were
Consumer
having
Electronics
that. Yeah. Isn't that what?
Well,
Yeah.
the
What's that
Consumer
called?
Electronics Show is pretty good. Is pretty big too.
It is pretty big. But as far as SEMA takes up like every single hall
Well, then
plus
they
a
make
tent.
halls. Oh,
Plus
they
the front
make-
parking
they make-
area.
They make the
Yeah.
tents. I mean, and the tents get more and more every year.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
it's huge.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year.
With the new convention center?
Well, no, with the COVID.
Oh.
Sure.
How many companies made it through this? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we've probably lost a few.
Yeah, I think most of them will come through. I think is the truth of
A
it.
lot of people were working from home.
Yeah.
Working from home.
It's
It will be
I don't
interesting
And her
know.
to see.
vehicle somehow just
Yeah.
got marvelously more creative.
Yeah.
And parts added to it.
but I can't think of anybody that I know of that went out as far as in
Yeah,
I
it'll
can't
be
think of
interesting. It'll
anybody.
be interesting to see. It'll be
So,
interesting to see.
I mean, there's a ton of companies that are there, and who knows? I mean, we'll see. But I mean, what I think will be more interesting is how many people just decide to skip it. Because
Yeah,
I've talked to
'cause
I'm not going to say who, but I've talked to companies that have basically said, we don't know if it's really worth us going because you spend $50,000 on this trade show,
Yeah.
and they've skipped it now. This whole year they're like, what are we going to do? We're going to be missing SEMA, thinking that SEMA was such a huge part of it, which I do. I still think SEMA is very important.
Yeah.
I'm attending for sure, but their sales are still through the roof without even going to SEMA. So they're like, we're not too sure that we really need to go. Is the truth of it. I hope that's not the general consensus.
I hope that's not either. I mean,
because it's a great show.
it's a great show and great people. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some departments over. Oh, you got to watch the. I hate to say this, but there's been countries busted
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
under for federal trademark infringement
Right.
Yeah.
at SEMA.
Yeah, we've
Patent-
seen it.
patent infringement
happening
right there.
Yeah.
Well, you get
Yeah.
copied quite a bit.
We get copied. We haven't had too many issues coming from just it's hard to copy a big old bumper. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Particularly one that this is one of my things that I end up doing. Maybe it's accidental, but there's easier ways to make a bumper than how I make bumpers. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
There's more cost-effective ways where you can have higher margins.
Cheaper.
So yeah, there's cheaper ways
There's
to
cheaper
do it.
ways. There's cheaper ways to
So-
do it, which in turn though make a cheaper bumper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, that's the thing about it is like I've seen it. We didn't have any of our products involved with any of that stuff, but
Not
I
at
saw
SEMA
products
directly.
that,
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it happen where you literally just like boot them.
Yeah.
People being booted.
Oh yeah, I've seen people booted out of SEMA for
Wow.
You have to be careful. I mean, we're pretty careful when we're there about who's in the booth taking pictures
Yeah.
and whatnot.
You get, dude,
You
there's
gotta be
some
careful.
crazy, who was telling me, I think it was JW Speaker. Yeah. He was telling me a story where, and hopefully I'm getting this right. Hopefully this is who it is, but they literally had somebody walk into their booth and they're showing off their new taillight for the JK, which is on this JK right there, actually. They're showing off this new taillight and everything like that. It's sitting there in the booth, and they had somebody come in the booth, a lady come in the booth with
tape
a little
measure.
tape measure, and she started measuring it, taking photos.
Yeah.
Right there, just taking pictures, taking
Couldn't have
measurements.
been more obvious if she
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And I think, dude, this is...
I think you checked your cell phone.
No, his dad. It was Jason
Smack.
Speaker,
Yeah,
right?
I think you smacked the
And he
phone.
told me he walked right over... His dad walked over this lady and just swatted her, and the phone went flying down the aisle.
Yeah.
It was
The phone,
bouncing down the aisle.
not her, the
Not
phone.
her, the
Oh.
phone. Like he swatted her phone and went bouncing
Yeah.
down the aisle, and the lady was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And a SEMA person was standing there and was just like, "What the heck?" And came over and he explained what was going on, and
Yeah.
they escorted the lady away apparently. So
Good.
yeah,
They're,
That's
they're a
good.
lot more careful about that.
Yeah.
I think you might see a smaller show this year because like we have heard from other companies, and I think part of it's you have to plan so far in advance for SEMA really a lot of times that
Yeah.
Months.
with
Yeah, you
with
do.
the uncertainty
Months.
They probably maybe put their budgeting for that show or their marketing somewhere else, but I think you'll see next year and the year after, it'll be bounce back.
I think
this
so,
year might be
too.
a little bit
I mean,
weird, but I don't think it will last.
and it might be a good thing just in general. Like, so here's the thing: it's a brand new convention center, right?
A whole new building.
Whole new
has
building,
been added.
much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen pictures of this thing?
Yeah.
You have?
Looks
The
cool.
Oh
new-
yeah, I've
with
seen
the-
pictures of
with
the,
the
new
cool
development.
roof line. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I hope we fill it all again
Yeah.
because there was a time like back in 08, 09,
I remember that.
we did not fill South Hall,
Yeah. No, I remember that.
and there was a lot of space. It was like
That was back when when I'm like, hey, can I bring 3 or 4 feature vehicles? They're like, sure, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
The more the
now you're
merrier.
lucky to bring one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they're and they won't let you buy more than X number of space if you don't have seniority, et cetera. The
Yeah.
last few years. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's tight now.
Yeah.
But
I think it'll bounce right back. I don't know why it wouldn't, to be honest with
Yeah.
what's the event right after that up there in Logandale?
you.
Vegas Valley Four Wheelers, I believe, put it on.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I don't know about
Logan's
that.
Run.
know
Logan's
that
Run. Logan's Run.
Oh, okay.
Logan's Run.
There's all sorts of events. I mean, the Baja 1000's like right after
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
So
Well, that's actually, isn't it? When
it's
is the
usually like a
1000?
week or two right after it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another one I'd like to go to.
The Baja 1000.
Yeah,
Yeah. I haven't been to that one either.
I haven't either. I'd love to. There's nothing really to announce. Sometimes it's just fun. I have been offered to go down on tire teams
Right. Yeah.
to but I'm at the point now where all I can do is stand there with a fire extinguisher. I'm not changing the tire. Okay, the cat is fire. Fireman's got it. Okay. Yeah, that's a wonderful event. We got some great. Let's go back to trails in Utah. Let's go
Okay.
back to trails in Utah.
Let's go back to trails. I'd actually like to talk about some more trails.
Yeah, one of the fun runs for a beginner
Mm-hmm.
is the Pony Express Trail,
Yeah, that is.
and you can take the Pony Express Trail out in Utah County and go across the desert, go
Mhm.
across into Tooele, I believe Tooele County,
Oh yeah.
and then pop up over in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of fun to do is take that trail, go up, and then spend the night in Wendover.
So now we're kind of talking about overlanding,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is good because
which is
I'd
good.
like to talk about
Yeah,
overlanding.
you-
This
you-
isn't just trails.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
this is overlanding.
But I mean, just the history
Right.
of the Pony Express Trail and why it's there.
Right.
And back in those days, every 25 miles there was a station along
Right.
the Pony Express Trail. And there's only a few left out.
That friend
And
I
the
was
wild
telling you
dogs,
about,
the wild horses.
my friend Cameron, that
Mhm.
we drove down
Mhm.
that thing that we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
This is awesome. His great grandfather somewhere in there. His name is
Lots of greats.
lots of greats going back there. His name is Howard Egan, General Howard Egan. If you want to Google him, you can Google him and see this is legit. He pioneered that route from Salt Lake City to Carson City. That was his route. And him and his sons rode that section. They're what made the Pony Express Trail through there.
Well, see, so you got two parts of history. You've got that trail. Okay, then you can go up and spend the night in Wendover.
Okay.
Then you can go north out of Wendover and go up and take the Transcontinental Railroad Trail back,
Okay.
which is another big part
Right.
of history, and come back in through Promontory. Or you can go out through Promontory, drop down to Wendover, spend the night in Wendover, come
Yeah.
back. You can either come back down I-15, not spend the night, or you can drop down to Pony Express and come back. What's really another cool thing is when you go out to Promontory Point, they have a wonderful film out there that you can watch about the railroad and the how the Irish built it coming east and the Chinese built it coming west, and all the the things that they had to go through, the Indians, the big part for the Chinese coming across the high Sierras, not to be confused with the Sarah, the high Sierras, was that they had avalanches and they'd wipe out camps. Sometimes the
Jeez.
avalanches would come down and just wipe out the camps. Anyway, so that's a really cool part of history, being able to drive out Transcontinental Railroad and go out go out Pony Express. I mean, those are part of Americana right now.
How far have you traveled on the Pony Express?
Just the Nevada.
Just Nevada?
Yeah.
Haven't gone all the way
Kurt
to...
Williams has taken it as far as it can go, and there's some nasty silt beds out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's gotten caught up in some nasty silt beds. He did that one year.
I'll have to talk to him about it. We're having him on the show.
Yeah.
So I'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
And so you've got trails there. You've got other trails up around. The Spiral Jetty's a nice family drive.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. It's
No.
not difficult.
No.
But I mean, it's a nice family drive, and it's better in a 4-wheel drive than a car. And that's an interesting little piece.
Yeah.
And then you got those trails there. We've talked about Hardware Ranch and the trails up in Hardware Ranch. You've got Monte Cristo.
Right.
The trails coming off of Monte Cristo. You've got a lot of good trails out in Vernal. Price. We haven't talked about Price.
No, we haven't.
I believe that's King County Crawlers area down there. Great group of guys and gals out of Price. Then you've got Kanab. There's some great trails around Kanab. We got stuck in a canyon in the rain one time. That was not a good thing.
Really?
No.
Oh, literally, we could not get out of the canyon without winches. We had a winch every single vehicle.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was down by just somewhere out there?
Kanab.
In Kanab.
Well, outside
is
of Kanab.
Where's Kanab about?
West of Hurricane, southwest.
Is that where it is?
No, southeast. I'm sorry, southeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don Black and the group down there. Great group,
Okay.
Great group of people down there.
Yeah.
And you've got another great trail is you get on, I believe it's Needles National Park, Elephant Hill.
Oh,
Have you ever done Elephant
That
Hill?
is
Yeah.
Canyonlands.
Is that
Yes.
Canyonlands?
Canyonlands.
Okay, Canyonlands.
Yeah.
that one's fun.
Oh, it's
yeah.
fun.
Elephant
It's
Hill.
really cool.
I've been a trail leader trail gunner for that for Easter Jeep Safari.
Yeah.
before.
It's neat that I think it's just neat that there's actually that kind of access in national parks.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
was one of those things that kind of surprised me. I was used to going through Zions and, everything's very controlled and structured
Yep.
and nice
It's-
paved
yeah.
roads.
Yeah, it's a wonderful trip. I would recommend that for anybody. And you can go through there and just keep on going. You've got the confluence
Right.
that you can see off that, and and it's one of the few confluences in the world where you can see. And a confluence is where two rivers come together,
Right.
and that's the confluence of the Colorado and the Green. And when you look down on it, you can actually see the Green,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
actually green, and the Colorado is brown, and it kind of mixes together and goes on down
Yeah.
to the lakes.
And it all turns brown.
And all goes brown. And I actually, when I was on that run, I actually had a guy propose to his fiance,
Oh, fun.
proposed to
Really?
his
Yeah.
girlfriend out there.
That's something special.
Yeah, it happens a few times.
exciting.
This last year I was kind of joking that I'm actually actually registered with the Weber County Clerk's Office, and I can do weddings.
Sweet.
And
Wow.
I was joking around trying to get somebody to do a getaway wedding, like on 7 Mile Rim or someplace, where it'd be kind of cool to have, a bunch of people show up for a wedding.
That'd be awesome.
Advertise free beer. I know everybody'd be there. Half of Moab. Everybody, James, hey, free beer at this wedding reception up on top of the escalator. I thought about putting that out as a joke during Safari to punk everybody, but I was kind of then decided that I could end up fearing for my life.
Yeah.
You might get in
That
trouble
group.
for that one.
Yeah, that group. They may.
They hunt you down, man.
Yeah, you can't hide. You can't hide. I'm as big as I am. I can't hide anyway. But there's no place you can hide down there, Moab. They'll find you.
Have you done the swell before?
No, a lot of my friends
The
have done the swell.
San
That's
Rafael
the
swell.
San Rafael swell. That's another
Legendary.
Legend is legendary. You come out of Price. You can come out of Salina. You can come out of Richfield.
Mhm.
That's got some great areas. Delta
Yeah.
has got some great trails. Out
Really?
there. You don't hear that much about it.
No, you don't.
But Craig Stump has done some great stuff with trails out there in Delta, Utah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I've had some interesting experiences out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of sand just north of that, but I wouldn't,
Well, Little Sahara.
Little Sahara, right.
If you like
Yeah.
sand, Little Sahara is a great place to go. I frankly loathe sand and mud.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I much prefer rock. I know how to fix my rock stuff, but mud, when you got to fix it in the mud, it's just ugh.
Mud is the worst.
Yeah.
I don't mind sand. Sand, well, I don't know. I have a little bit too much fun in sand. So
Well, I've had a lot of fun in sand.
it's just I probably shouldn't have as much fun as I have in sand.
Try to break stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, and I don't or haven't yet.
Lose your inhibitions.
Really. But
When he gets
yeah,
on the dunes.
I have way too much fun in sand. Yeah. Somebody taught me once upon a time, this magazine editor taught me how to drive in sand, and it was all downhill from there. I was still using traction control and stuff like that, and he's like, "Nah, turn that off. You want to do this?" And
Yeah, you want to turn off the traction control. You want to air down.
mhm.
You don't want to try to go straight down and up a hill. You want to take it at an angle
Mhm.
and stay into it. And if you get stuck in a bowl, you just wind yourself out of the bowl.
Yeah.
You just wind. Hit the microphone. You just wind yourself out of the bowl. And I've done that in the Ram Chargers before.
Have you really?
Oh yeah.
There was a bowl I almost dropped in on in Sand Hollow. I was with Phil Howell, and he yelled
Oh,
at me. He's
Phil.
like, "No, don't drive in there." And I was like, "Okay," and I didn't drive in there. Apparently, once you get there's this point of it, it's just like you'll never get out. You just get sucked down in.
There's a lot of legendary names down there now.
There
Larry
is.
Larry McGraw.
McCree,
McCree.
isn't it McCraw? McCree.
Larry, we love you. And then
He's what made Poison Spider a Poison Spider, basically.
he made Poison Spider.
He did. I mean, Clifton Slay started Poison
Well,
Spider. He grew it,
Yeah.
but Larry,
And then
Made it.
Lance Clifford,
yeah.
one of the founders of Pirate 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Klein. You got Rich Klein. And there's other great guys down there. I mean, there's
You
a whole
got
bunch of great guys.
I'm trying to remember his name.
Phil Howell.
Phil, yeah.
yeah.
You got
Gil
started-
Meacham.
He started I Hate Mud. What's his name? I feel bad, but yeah, guy that started
We just know
I
so
Hate
many
Mud.
people. I mean, you
Yeah,
start
yeah.
talking about these people, we just know so many of them.
I'm terrible with names too.
Yeah.
Like I'll remember it. I'll be like in the shower and be like, oh, it's.
Yeah.
So I'm just not a name person.
2 days later, I'll be sitting at work going, oh, dang, gotta call him. That was his name.
5 Mile Pass has been a fun
Oh,
local.
We haven't
Five.
talked about 5 Mile.
Oh, how could we forget about
Yeah.
5 Mile
Yeah.
Pass is very interesting because there's a lot of private property in there.
Oh,
Is it really?
there? I didn't know that.
That's
I
like when
thought that
when
was all BLM.
Oh no! Like when you pull into the parking lot,
Yeah,
that hill over to the right,
yeah.
that's all private property.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of blotches of private property up in there. There's rattlesnake
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
We always do that one.
it goes
Constrictor.
through constrictor. Those
Mhm.
those go through private property.
No kidding.
yeah, and then there's the Jeep in the hole.
Right.
Yep.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yep, you still see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Where is this?
5 Mile Pass.
Have
Yeah.
we seen this?
I've seen it. So
I've seen it.
effectively, I don't know what the story is behind it, but there is a Jeep. If you look down, it's in one of the mines, right?
Yeah, it's
It
like
was
I
one of the
think
mining
if I
shafts.
remember right, and this is going back prior to my time. Well, someone went up a hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, went down a mine shaft.
Yep.
Ooh.
I think they lived though, because the Jeep is stuck. Like,
It's like a cartoon.
It's like maybe 40 feet down or
That's
something like that. It's
crazy.
just stuck in there, and it's kind of hard to see. And then you just get the light at the right angle, and you're like,
Flash,
oh look,
shine a flashlight
right
down
there.
there.
Huh.
yeah,
I don't think I've seen that.
yeah. Now they have the grate, so you can actually
Yeah.
stand right on the grate and
Oh.
look down.
Maybe I have seen that.
Yeah,
The and see, and talk about reparations of lands and stuff like this. Or restoration of lands, not reparations. Restorations.
We don't want to get into that. Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm at work at 6 a.m. So we're getting into Sarge's sleepy time. Yeah, and well, a lot of things they do with those old mine shafts now is they put those grates over them
mm-hmm.
so that they can
Right.
be used as bat habitats.
Oh really?
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and if you rip it at the wrong time, it'll drive you batty.
Set up. Set that up.
And our engineer's awake. Okay, good. He was kind of out
Still
cold
with-
over there
he's
for a
still
while.
with us.
He's still with us over there. He was kind of out there for a while. He was kicked back enjoying. I don't know what he was watching over there, but so yeah, they got that. So there's a lot of good things that go on out there.
Yeah.
Like with the bat habitats and stuff like that. That's throughout Utah. You know, you and then you've got little Moab out there too, to the
Mhm.
south. I mean, there's all kinds of trails out there. You can follow trails for days out there
Mhm.
past 5 Mile. Everybody wants to stay at Constrictor and Rattlesnake and right around there.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone out and done a lot of cleanups. I've pulled a lot of abandoned cars out there.
Really?
Yeah,
Old ones?
no new ones.
Really?
Yeah, people, stolen cars been dumped out there and
Oh,
stuff like that.
bummer.
And then we clean up a lot of, we'll go out there and clean up an area where target practice has gotten a little bit too crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like almost nothing but shotgun
Yeah.
shells, 223s.
Just garbage and stuff
just
that drop
garbage,
out for
yeah.
for target
And see,
practice.
okay, and like the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association, we got a bag called the Trasharoo,
Right.
which is a wonderful bag that goes over your spare tire or on the back of your tailgate with our logo on it. We sell them for $50, so come see me anytime you want to at any event. And cheap plug. And you should always pack out more than you pack in.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people do with their Trasharoo is they'll fill it with firewood and go to their campsite, dump out their firewood, and they use it for the trash and bring the trash back out.
Oh, very
and they
nice.
pick up trash along the trail. I mean, you pick up trash and throw it into the Trasharoo
Yeah.
on the back while you're on the trail. I mean, that's one of the big things we're about at Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association is we want to work with the BLM. We want to work with the Forestry Service. BOR is another great group here in the state of Utah. It's another great club.
Yeah,
It's
those guys
great
are a little
club.
bit more like desert running kind of racing, right?
Oh, they're into everything. I mean, they do a lot of
they?
American Fort Canyon. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about
Yeah,
it.
we didn't talk
That's
about
right.
American
Yeah.
Fort Canyon, which again was originally mines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's
Goes
yeah.
basically all the way up to Snowbird. The backside.
well, yeah, you can't. There is one trail,
Goes all
and
the way up to Mineral
occasionally,
Basin.
yeah, you can go up through Mineral Basin, and if you get permission, you can go all the way up to Snowbird.
Right. You just have to
But
have
it's
the
on
permission.
it's on
private property.
It is private
Yeah.
property. There's very few private property swatches up there.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, well, I'm not going to start. But you can also, what's the nicest too? You can go up the road and come down, and you come down into Midville. What is that on the backside?
Of which?
Well, actually, you can go up. You can go up American Fort Canyon. You can end up in
Heber.
Park City
Right.
and Millville.
There's a Midvale up there, isn't there?
Midville. No, not Midvale.
Midville?
By Heber City?
No,
What's
you're
up by
thinking.
there?
What am I thinking of? It's to the northwest.
Yeah,
of, of
I-
Heber.
I know exactly.
It's
what
right
you're
there at the
talking
end of the
about.
trail.
I'm like, I know people that
You
live
come down
there.
down the trail. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Glenn Wakefield, the owner of Rocky Mountain Outfitters.
yeah, yeah. Isn't that where Zermatt is?
Colville? Oh.
No, Coville's up. No.
It's not
Yeah,
Colville.
Zermatt.
It's Zermatt.
It's mid
No,
something.
not.
Midway.
Midway, yes.
Midway.
Yay.
There it is. We got it. It was mid
Thank
something.
you, Sarah. Sarah got
Yeah.
it. All right.
There we go.
So many towns, so many wonderful towns we get to visit off-roading. Like I said, we got the event coming up in Vernal. That's going to be an absolutely great event.
Not a lot of people go out to Vernal.
Yeah, and
Small
that's
town.
well, actually, this event's growing all the time.
Is it?
This is our first. They actually invited the Utah Four Wheel Drive Association out there. I'm hoping to have a film crew out there with us this year. And we'll
Nice.
be doing some filming for Parks and Recs,
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
50th anniversary of their OHV program.
Of the what
Chris-
program?
They're off-highway
Off-highway vehicle.
OHV.
Oh,
off-highway.
OHP. Gotcha.
And so Chris Holler and his team,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're looking forward to putting together some stuff for them, and that'll be on ABC4.
Mm.
I don't know when.
There'll
Don't
be
know when we call
some nice. It'll be actually a nice overlanding trek that side of Utah. Not many people. I mean, you can go all the way from Vernal. You can go all the way down off-road trails, all the way down to Green River.
Last time I went out there to Vernal, I ended up towing the trail leader back home.
Really?
He didn't make it 300 feet down the trail, and he tried to jump a ledge, and his Jeep flexed too much, and he put his fan right in the radiator.
Oh.
Boom! It was an old flatty type Jeep,
Mm-hmm. Day over.
and so strapped him and
Pulled them back.
hauled him all the way back to Vernal.
So here's the thing. Do you feel that that's one of the key things that helps keep everything open? Just the stuff you guys are doing. You do these cleanups, right? So you're
Right.
pulling out old cars.
Right.
You're cleaning up after boneheads going out there doing target practice, leaving all their crap around.
People abandoning their cars, people stealing
yeah,
cars and
people
abandoning
stealing
them.
cars and
I
abandoning
mean,
them.
and
Just people
doing
leaving junk out there.
recoveries, picking up parts from other
Mhm.
off
Other
roaders,
broken vehicles,
and
beer cans all
well,
over.
that's if we keep an area clean, then it adds to the fight against closing it.
Right.
We clean it, we maintain it. We keep I hate putting up fence. I hate putting up fence because I don't think we should have to put up fence.
Mm-hmm.
But because of some boneheads, we have to put up fences. We have to sometimes close off.
So you guys have actually put up fencing to
Oh yeah. We've
close trails.
Yeah, well, not close trails
Mm-hmm.
to keep cherry stemming from happening.
No.
Oh, let me drive
Oh.
down this little area right here. and
Stop
let me
the spurs or
stop
whatever
the spurs, the cherry stemming, and to keep the trail narrow.
that. Mm-hmm.
Right.
As the trail goes wider, then we end up putting buck pole fences in to bring them in and bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
I've done fences at Little Sahara. I've done fences in Cache Valley. To help show off the difference between our the public lands and private land. I've helped put up fences for that.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped take down fences
Hmm.
that were dangerous.
Hmm.
And
So do your part.
Yeah.
so yeah, everybody
Clean
needs to
up.
do their part. Don't go up there and drive. Don't be that. You got that high school kid that you just bought that Jeep for,
Right.
or new Bronco. We'll give Bronco a plug. Or you just bought your first Power Wagon. Don't be that person that goes up there, tears up stuff, and walks away. I mean,
Mhm.
And if somebody says, "Hey, you really shouldn't be in that area," look, are you supposed to be in that area? Forest Lake,
Mm-hmm.
up American Fork Canyon. Big problem with people not just
Oh, yeah.
don't think the rules don't apply to them.
We'll drive right into that lake and
Drive
stuff
right
like
into
that.
the lake, drive around the backside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the fences, that's what the poles were. Well, I fit through the pole, so I can't go. No, just because somebody else moved the pole doesn't mean you get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, you got to save the salamander up there or whatever it is. But,
Yeah. Know the area before you go.
Yeah, know the area before
Don't
you go.
carve
check
your
with the-
initials on rocks and trees, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
My
just
goodness.
had one. It might have been out there at Canyonlands.
Yeah.
Somebody just did put the little climbing
Oh, they did?
spikies.
They put a
into it.
piton.
Pitons into
Yeah.
an area that had
Yikes.
the petroglyphs.
Oh dear.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's and he fessed up to it. I mean, there's been people and some people put this stuff on YouTube, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh.
It's
Well, thanks for leaving the evidence
yeah,
somewhere
thanks
where
for
we
leaving
can
the
find it,
evidence
you
where we
know?
can all find it and everything. And You know, and some guys have done this, and
Yeah.
we've, you know, and unfortunately, the internet will shame you.
Oh,
Yeah.
And some people have come back and said, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. We went back and we cleaned it up and blah." And that's the good folks.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the good folks.
Yeah.
Okay, it's when they do it and they don't see that there's a problem.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, it's public land. I can do whatever I damn well want to. Well, no,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
And so this education is really important
Yeah.
to help keep it public.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
keep public. You know, like I said before, Utah's trails are America's trails. Let's keep public lands public.
Yeah.
Are there any issues as far as outside of Utah? When you step out of Utah, I mean, does the fight get worse? Does it get better? I mean, we have the Blue Ribbon Coalition, which covers most of the West, right?
Well, the
But-
Blue Ribbon Coalition covers the entire United States.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll help anybody that needs help.
Mhm.
But Kansas has very little public lands. When you get to that,
Mhm.
I guess, border like with Colorado,
Okay.
after that, there's no public lands. There's not no public lands. There's very
Very
little
little,
public
yeah.
lands. Texas, second biggest state in the union,
Right.
very little public lands.
Hmm.
You know, so you end up riding on power line trails, or you end up at a park.
Mm-hmm.
On OHV Park that's privately owned, and you have to pay to go in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's in there
Mm-hmm.
because you got everybody can find it as one little tiny area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they would love to. Outside the fact they'd love to eliminate us altogether out here in the West.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the tree huggers would just love to see. Would just and sometimes, you know, we've got idiots in our group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we do. We all know this. And they have idiots. And
Sure.
they're idiots I've seen put spikes in roads.
Yep.
They've set the booby trap roads.
Yep.
And that's just
Which is just threatening somebody's life.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
dangerous.
it's
You blow a bead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You blow a tire. You catch the bead. You end on your lid
yeah,
by yourself. You might be dead.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's literally threatening somebody's life. It's not, I'm going to pop their tire and make their life tough. It's like, nah, you could
Or
potentially kill somebody.
They throw rocks out onto the trail. They literally have moved rocks down on the trails.
Yeah.
I had a big problem with that down in Price lately.
Hmm.
And we ended up getting a group together and got that taken care of. But these and some of these roads that they've done this on
Mm-hmm.
are roads used by farmers, sheep herders.
Yeah. They need to have
cattlemen.
their access roads.
This is county
They're also
access
like
roads.
search and rescue needs to be able to get up that
Right.
road if somebody's
Right.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah. We just, after almost a 10-year battle, got the Big Ridge Trail opened up
Mm-hmm.
down below Hanksville.
Okay.
And I know the guy who originally cut the road for the mining companies.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a landslide on it, and we had fought them for years trying to get it, and finally the county went in and
Got it opened up.
Got it opened up after almost 10 years. Because you know there's some wonderful people in the BLM
Mm-hmm.
for both sides.
Yeah.
There's some that are really green, and there's some that are really on our side.
And we're talking Bureau of Land Management, by the way, just
Right.
so you know, Facebook. Bureau of Land, Management. It was the BLM before that other group, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so
There
don't get
are-
all
there
weird
are
about it.
multiple. Yeah.
There's multiple
good point.
BLMs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There's only one in my book.
Yeah. Bureau of Land Management.
That's right. And so, you know, it so, you know, we work with them as best we can and try to keep them, you know, and in fact, we've invited SUA to events
Really?
where we've been putting up fences and
Mhm.
planting trees.
Do
and
they
doing
come?
things like, oh, no. No.
Not interested?
Not interested.
Not interested in
Nope,
helping
not interested in
clean
an
it up?
olive branch. Nope. And I'm more than happy to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got their opinion, I got mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at the end, we can all drink tea or
Yeah.
a beer or
Find
Coca-Cola.
common ground usually.
Mhm.
You know, find a common ground. You
Yeah.
know, and all I gotta say is, when it comes to trails, the kids never remember the 45 miles to the gallon you got in that Prius. But they remember that trail ride with Daddy
Mm-hmm.
and Mommy
Yeah.
Yes, that is a different
or
experience.
Uncle
It's a
Bob
different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or Uncle Buck.
Yeah. It's a rich, I mean, there's such a rich heritage to I think it's just, when I say rich heritage, I think it's just part of almost like DNA. If you think of particularly people in America, right? Everyone that's come over here in one way, shape, or form has been a pioneer, whether they wanted to be or not. You know what I mean? It's driven a lot of rugged. If you look at what Europe used to be versus what this was, right? Europe was very controlled, monarchies,
Still
systems like that, right? And you had everything from the wild, wild west to the deep south. You had all sorts of stuff that had to be conquered and
Tamed.
overcome. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it really, you know, whoever's here, in my book, it's just you have the heritage of being American as being a rugged individual.
Yeah.
That's just part of it, you know? And so it's really neat to me that we get to still feel that. And I think it's healthy to feel that, right? We're all at desks all day. In so many areas, we're just stuck at a desk, or we're on our phone, which we probably shouldn't be, right?
Never.
And
No. I put my phone away when I go to work, and I never touch it the whole day.
It's just fantastic to get out away from places. There still are places in this country where there is no cell service.
Yes.
And it is a wonderful
Yes.
thing. It is absolutely a wonderful thing. So,
Yep. There is few places like that. Canyonlands is one of them. That's great, and you know, going out to Moab is wonderful. Going out to Sand Hollow, you know, I got friends that have a room down there that I can use anytime I want to at Sand Hollow in Hurricane, and they call it Sarge's room. And you know, I have a great time with those folks down there. Love getting down there with Gil and everybody down there, and putting on the Winter 4x4 Jamboree, the Trail Hero. You know, I love being part of the Red Rock Four Wheelers and putting on the Easter Jeep Safari. And you know, people need to get younger people need to get more involved. I'm ready to retire out. I'm ready to just sit back and go enjoy a trail and not worry about anything, and know the next generation is going to take over for me, and the younger ones are going to come on up and
that's
take
kind of
over.
one of the challenges, isn't it?
That is a challenge. You know, we got to teach our kids to respect the land and respect the trail, and keep it on the trail, and not, you know, just go tear stuff up.
Yeah.
You look at the popularity of the growth, just the fact that the Bronco's coming out.
Right.
The fact that that's being relaunched. You have, you know, Tesla built the Cybertruck, which is an interesting vehicle. I'm actually excited for it, to be honest with
Hummer's coming out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hummer's coming.
new
New
Hummers,
truck.
right? Those are coming. The Rivian, which is I think is going to be a pretty amazing truck. I mean, have you seen how it can do a tank turn?
Right.
And literally just whoosh.
Yep.
I mean, you have a movement, and Jeep did their, you know, I guess it's a hybrid vehicle. It's not all electric, but it's a
hybrid. Yeah.
It's a hybrid.
Gas electric.
I think you're just going to have more of that, and I think that opens up the popularity, the growth of this industry, and I think it's good. I think it's very healthy. But that is probably my biggest concern, is the lack of education. That's probably where our problem's going to come in.
You got the Volkswagen coming out?
Wait, what?
The Volkswagen?
Volkswagen's doing what?
Volt.
The Volkswagen?
Yeah, they're going to change their name from Volkswagen to Volkswagen.
Are they really?
No.
No, they're not.
No, actually, it was it was an April Fool's joke put up by Volkswagen.
Oh, okay.
They advertised they were going to be
I
all
missed
electric.
That one.
They were going to be all electric, and it was, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
it was like, I was looking at it like,
That would have been so dumb. I'm just
actually, really?
I'm like,
I mean, from
it's
a marketing
clever.
standpoint, I mean,
It's
you know,
clever, dude, but come on. Like, it means the people's car. Now, what
Yeah.
does it mean?
It means the electric
People's car?
The electric people's car. You get a real charge.
Volkswagen?
Yeah.
No, Volkswagen is like the people's car.
Perfect,
It's Volts.
actually.
Isn't that the people?
Yeah.
Hey, you speak German over there. What is Volkswagen?
People's car.
Wagon is wagon. You wouldn't know? You need to look that up.
I think someone needs
It's
to
the people's
brush up
car.
on
He's
their
taking German. He's taking it like every semester. So
I've lived over there for 6 years.
did you?
Yeah, I was assigned over to Germany for 6
Yeah.
years. I took 2 back-to-back tours.
How was it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful place.
Left there kicking and screaming.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah, but the wall came down and didn't need me. So
I
they said,
remember that.
Sarge, we're going to send you to
neat.
Washington, D.C.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Plain and simple.
That's a place to visit.
Cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
I'd love to go see the cherry
Beautiful.
blossoms.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to take a tour. I'd love to get with our congressional team and take a tour of the White House and
That'd be amazing, wouldn't
if
it?
they ever take the fence down.
They'll take it down. Don't you think?
I'm hoping.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
somebody's going to get bored of it.
And then then they said, hey, we're going to send you to Utah. And I said, now as a combat forward support sergeant, I fix things right up on the line. I'm like, Utah? What's in Utah? And they took me off to the side and sent me down to see the 7th Signal Command Sergeant Major. And he said, I can't tell you, but you're going to like it. I said, well, you took the time to talk to me. I'll go. So I re-enlisted and came here to Utah. Loved it. Was happy to get out of the Army here.
How long have you been in Utah?
30 years.
30 years.
I came here with a Ram Charger. I used to drive a Ram Charger in Germany.
That would have been interesting.
Oh, it was. Especially when I went down to Italy in it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I could barely fit the dang thing down the street. And here's these little Fiat Bambinos coming up trying to tell me to get out of the way. I'm like, honk. Meep, meep, honk. Anyway.
Now I know why Europeans hate Americans.
Yeah. Yes.
It's because all those
Ram
military
Chargers.
guys being in big old trucks over there and stuff.
One day I was driving
Lincolns.
I had a Ford Super Cab long bed. And it had camper mirrors on it. I forgot about them one day. And I went to go pick up one of my troops. And the way to his house did not fit a Super Cab with camper mirrors out. I could pull the mirrors in and go down that street. And I hit that street doing about 30, 35 miles an hour, forgot about those mirrors, and just
Boom.
took them off the side of the truck. Yeah, it was, one of those American kind of things. Had to go to PX, order 2 mirrors.
Didn't have to do anything with the buildings.
They built everything out of concrete and brick over there. You weren't going to hurt those buildings.
Well, they're just history now, right?
No.
And your mirrors.
Oh, the mirrors are history.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. But yeah, love driving full size over there.
I bet it would be fun.
Yes.
I don't think I would do it on purpose, but I think it would be fun. So
Well, I drove big Army trucks, so I could drive a big Army car.
Mhm.
So that's some of the things crazy about the Big Sarge.
Yeah.
Had a blast over there, though.
Yeah.
Went
How-
for Volks marches on the weekend with the wife and the kids.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
I've got a walking stick all covered in Volks marching badges.
Pretty legendary guy there, Sarge.
No, I'm not.
I'm making you legend
Just-
right now. That's what we're going for.
I'm just an old guy.
You get around, dude.
Uh,
I mean, you're Santa Claus and stuff.
well, that day I get around quite a bit, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff. Well, my back itches. Sorry. I had to. It's like I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know if the camera's on me. Do I scratch my nose? Anyway. Well, Sarge, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is a great conversation.
James, Sarah, thank you guys very much for hosting us tonight, and really appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's,
Pleasure.
I'm sure we'll have you on again,
Mhm.
hopefully. Yeah?
Yep, you got
Talk
some great
some more
guys.
stuff.
You got some great guys lined up to come in, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. We hope to have a good show. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for all you do for the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association, or with the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association, for keeping trails open, keeping Utah accessible to us. And we appreciate you.
Yep.
So,
Well,
Thanks,
it's
Sarge.
always great to be with good folks.
yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.